BRB.
Yes, he's a 60-minute man. There'll be 15 minutes of kissing. Then you holler, please don't stop. There'll be 50 minutes of teasing, and 50 minutes of squeezing, and 50 minutes of blowing my top. If your man ain't treating you right, come up and see old Dan. I'll rock 'em, roll 'em all night long. I'm a 60-minute man. 60-minute man. Call it the loving Dan. I'll rock, roll all night long. I'm a 60-minute man. 60-minute man. They call me loving Dan. I'll rock 'em, roll 'em all night long. I'm a 60-minute man. There'll be 15 minutes of kissing. Then you holler, please don't stop. Don't stop. There'll be 50 minutes of teasing, and 50 minutes of squeezing, and 50 minutes of blowing my top. If your man ain't treating you right, come up and see old Dan.
Oh my gosh, I got up to find my water. It's been at the computer the whole time. What? Yeah, what the fuck? How am I this person? How did I wake up with this brain in this body? What? How did I even? This is some bullshit. Hi, one sec. Headphones. Oh no, our shit stopped. Hold this. Hello, friend. How are you? Hi. I needed this. This is how we're starting our day. Hi. How are you? Morning. We're gonna play Deadlock, and then we're gonna get through some TintCon. I have TintCon ready. It's Cobra, so you know we're good. We're good. We're ready. It's some Cobra while I get ready for Deadlock. I'm getting stuff ready for Scrum. Okay, cool. The chat that'll be on the screen should be up. Finally. There we go. Okay. I had Cobra. Where's my Cobra tab? Holy shit. I can get it again. Got him. Stop auto-playing, motherfucker. I want the funny screen. There we go. Hold on. Oh, better weeks. Well, heart you all in all. I know that doesn't change the world, make it better, or even abate the worst. But heart you all the same. So, in addition to whatever the world's doing, heart you? It doesn't help, I know. I'm sorry. You wanna watch some Cobra time? You want some Cobra tint with me? Let's totally have some Cobra tint. It'll be fun. I just finished washing my hair, so I need to, like... Honestly, I need to be damp for a little bit.
So I went and I ordered a 3-piece original recipe tenders box, plus a bonus chicken tender, to go with it, and it's got some comeback sauce. I also ordered a sweet lightning Mountain Dew with some gravy. And I ordered the fries on the side, but yo, they are out
Fries
of
on the
the French fries.
side with a Coke in hand. Oh, Cobra.
What do you do?
Does he know?
And if you like the
Does he know that his beardy is trying to eat his snake? Do you think he knows what's up?
food reviews, hit like, subscribe for more.
I don't think he knows what's up.
I've got one more food review in the works, possibly, but I will need to get a lot of likes on this one before I
Snack
do
snake.
it, see?
Snack snake. No snack snake. Not today, snack snake.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
We got the goods from KFC.
The goods? Oh, no.
I guess they're out of their secret recipe fries, but that's all good.
Herb is just walking,
What do we got
waiting
here?
for the chaos. Chaos.
We want to do a different side instead.
Sorry.
Oh, it's piping hot too. I'm liking that.
You know what else is piping hot? I have no idea.
And if you like KFC, smash the like button.
I'm still annoyed. The franchises by me still don't have their like plant-based option.
Side here. Gravy. Here's
Some
our
days I
gravy.
want crispy food with buffalo sauce, and I don't want to run my oven.
They have substituted the French fries with their delicious mashed
We're gonna
potato
have to watch
gravy
and
by the
eat it
looks
to
of
figure it out.
Yeah, they did. They gave us
Think of it
extra
like-
mashed potatoes and gravy, which I do like KFC's potatoes
Right,
and gravy.
that's the thing. Like, if they had the little
That's
plant-based
what's
shit
up.
here,
So they gave
I'd be
us
good. Because, like, at
mashed
3 in the
potatoes
fucking
instead,
morning,
'cause they were out
it
of.
could be nice, you know?
They were out of
I wouldn't
French
complain.
fries. It's all good.
There is nothing local around me much at all
Came with some
anyways.
extra
Most of the
gravy, so
local
that's
shit
always
is go home and
nice.
cook. Or drive, which I fucking can't do,
Alright,
so...
let's see what we got
yeesh.
here in the main box.
Which, that is fine.
So
But, like,
KFC
you know,
has
it would
these
be
new
like,
chicken
what,
tenders.
a long time. It would be a long-ass
First
way.
menu item on their menu. Look at that. We got the comeback sauce. I try saying a third of that without fucking laughing. It's like, hey, look, what you got there for dipping sauce? Oh, this? Psh.
Like, I have a really
Close
bomb
comes sauce.
fucking public market.
Okay, no,
And I got, like,
seriously,
2
let's-
dope as fuck grocery stores that kick ass.
Let's be a bit more mature about this, shall we? So we got. What's in here? Let's
It's like,
open it
either,
up.
honestly, either I can get, like, fresh
Word.
shit pulled from the ground, or I can, like, alternatively
The
get-
new
I can just-
tenders.
get boxed stuff. I have, like,
Oh, these
a
tenders
couple
smell
options.
decadent,
I go with the fresh
son.
shit pulled from the ground,
And they even
usually.
gave me a separate one for
I
the
do like
fourth
those
one that
fucking
I ordered.
tendies. You see
That's
me with my
cute.
tendies of choice.
So go ahead and put all 4 in there
Basically.
like that. They gave me an individual box for the 4th one. That's what's up.
I thought he was gonna call
So
it
yeah,
wasteful.
YouTube, we got the new chicken tenders from KFC.
Chicken
Let's try one without the
tendies.
sauces.
I, as a tendies bitch, will always stand that crispy shit makes the world go round. Alright? You know? Like,
Okay.
right.
All right. I see you.
Bruh.
I see you,
Of
KFC.
fucking course you
Hold
do.
up. Got all over my face when it splattered. Yo, let's try some of that comeback sauce.
Can I find
All
something
jokes
really
aside,
fast?
is KFC gonna make you want to come back for more with this sauce?
I mean, like, can I be fucking for real? I'm not surprised. Like, that Cobra or I have similar eating habits, okay? This is a meme. Oh, it is a fucking meme. Give me my fried shit and my sweets, and maybe I'll shut the fuck up long enough. My sauce of choice is ketchup. I also like a good red hot sauce. That's also okay. I'll take that too. I like dino shaped. Dino shaped is the way to go. I'm like, Yeah, no, I have the Dino Simu nuggets in my freezer right the fuck now. They're dope as fucking ready to go. Always. I mean, like, if it's between, okay, nuggies at the bottom, then then dinos, and then on the top, where the strata goes, I want to have, tendies. Okay, so, like, yeah, tendies on top, dinos in the middle, and then on the bottom, nuggies. But I still love nuggies more than I love french fries, even though I love french fries more than I love breathing. No, not the breast of it. No, I haven't. I'm still miffed that I can't get fucking Beyond Chicken from my local KFC. I would actually shit myself if I could. I have to go far away to do that. I have a friend I can go visit, and theirs does, but that's like a long way, and they'd have to drive and pick my ass up. That would be tedious. I would like lose it.
Okay. It kind of tastes like. That's really good. All jokes aside, that's really good sauce, man.
All jokes aside, this is a really good Cobra.
Like a ranch, 1,000 pound kind of dressing.
Cobra
like a Big Mac sauce and ranch and honey mustard came together. Check out KFC's new chicken tenders. Delicious. Now, I've had their mashed potatoes and gravy before, so I'm not going to review that. I'll be saving those for a snack for later. But, oh, look at that gravy. It is piping hot. You see the steam coming off of that sexiness? Yeah, we know what we're going to do next. We're going to grab this chicken tender. Oh, look at that steam, actually.
I can make this worse.
Can you see the steam coming off of that? I can't. Let's take a dunk. Oh shit. We're going to dunk the new tenders and their gravy. Look at that.
For those who aren't aware, people, particularly women, have been posting certain configurations of food on social media and calling it, in quotes, girl dinner. End quote. It's usually a kind of personal-sized charcuterie board with meat, cheese, nuts, fruit, all separated into categories on a plate, but sometimes it's something silly, like a half sleeve of saltines and some Skittles. My housemate referred to her apple and peanut butter as girl dinner last week. The thing is, autistic people, not even just girls, have been eating meals this way for years because of sensory issues, executive dysfunction around food, ARFID, etc. People this be hitting people. This does be hitting people. You can't bully through it. Gotta help people. My ex taught me to, like, keep, like, frozen snacks. Oh, anime titties? That's this. This is world news. It's world news.
Oh my god.
World news. Always here to chill.
YouTube,
Here.
We're gonna have a conversation about this.
I think it's very helpful. You should give it to hot sauce. Vess, please give this to hot sauce. Please have the kindness in your heart. I know, right? It's world news. It has a fucking asshole filter called the naming policy. The name of it keeps people the fuck out. What are they gonna do? Be like, no, I found out about this because my ex was looking at it on his phone, and I got annoyed because it was anime titties, and I saw that, and I was also like, what the fuck, my guy? Just send it to her. She'll click on it. Or send her a news article in it that's, like, tantalizing. I don't know. Arvid is a bitch. Okay? Arvid is a fucking bitch. It's like candy. She'll give her this. It'll be like Microsoft right in the front. Like, this'll work. It'll be easy. Fucking easy clap. Give her. It won't be hard. Just give her that. Easy. Come on. Just do it. Do it.
Ranch with like a mixture of all kinds of different sauces.
You know, just give her something to read. Microsoft fires employees who organized vigil for Palestinians killed in Gaza.
Comeback sauce is where it's at, tubes.
Homie on Reddit says, "Damn, this sucks. These people were doing what they believed was right and cost them their jobs. That's incredibly brave. I hope that more people do protests/charities like this and we can see real change in companies like Microsoft." Bitch ass. But there's memes. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna find it today. Easy.
Sweet lightning Mountain Dew.
It's not gonna be here. God damn it. I can't find it. I looked for glasses. It's not here. I can look for the word C, but it's not gonna show up. Maybe it will. I highly doubt it. Remember when we hid behind this when we started streaming and we were just like actually just like, you know.
Mashed taters and gravy up. I'll be eating these for lunch.
Corporate factions are gonna take over our little ass world and do their own shit. Lol.
Excuse me. Your boy got the burp.
Yeah, no, we also do not stand for autistic nationalism. I occasionally go read their Reddit, but I just get bored. I like reading it. I just want to make sure that they're not moving, right? I want them to basically make less motion than like, you know, than these people that we're hiding from. See, you have to see, this is why we come to Ashby Moon. Okay, cool. So that we're here too. We have memes, and we have this, and Dark Souls 1 trading.
Yeah, one more piece of that chicken.
Hi.
One piece of that deep fried goodness.
Hi. People were real generous on the internet. Okay, that's all I gotta say.
No point in saving, let's just eat
Doop.
it. Sauce is pretty good, but dunking it in this gravy is so tender. Hold up.
Bruh.
Mmm.
This is like, this is all kinds of perfect. I like this. This feels right.
Oh,
This is a good time. I like this. Yeah. Let's get it.
You gotta go to KFC if you like their chicken and check out their chicken tenders.
Check out your mom.
Mmm.
Check out your dad.
Oh.
Check out your grandma.
Those chicken tendies, my friends, are hot and fresh. They are hot and fresh, my friends. I smoked those pretty quickly. Let's put the sauces up and come back to you with another drink combo real quick. 1 second.
Hi. Okay, I am the person that I swear to fuck. I will cut up the little fucking, like, oh my gosh. You know the little Impossible wieners? I'll, like, cut those up and put them in my beans sometimes, because it will be, like, you know, I'm a beans and rice kind of bitch a lot of the time, right? But then I'll put, like, yeah, I'll, like, have okra.
With my order, but we got some spare napkins here. 1 second. All right, folks, what can I say about the new KFC original recipe tenders?
Don't talk with your mouth full, bitch ass. Spit it on us. Mama bird
Yes,
us.
they are delicious. Man, I can feel my arteries clogging after eating that. Oh, fuck you, man.
I bet.
That's good.
I might get really sick if I ate their biscuit.
Yeah, it doesn't have that orange glow.
Would I still try?
It would have.
Yeah.
Because you know how when you get the sweet lightning and it's got that orangish hue to it? But what do you do? What do you do?
Poop on yourself? No, don't do that. I love okra. It's really good pickled. Some people I know eat it raw. Old coworker liked it raw. I like it fucking pickled, honestly. I like it flash boiled or blanched, and then I like it flash blanched, and then pickled.
It's delicious.
Right the fuck there, just pickled to fuck. Speaking of pickles, I'm gonna get up and get pickles soon.
Excuse me.
Broccoli is good when you roast
tasty,
it.
man.
I'll like torch roast broccoli in a heartbeat. I like it with fucking sunflower oil and chili flakes.
Re-review those.
I also like it with like.
Do I want to just try the new tenders from KFC?
On its own, in soup, whatever. I don't eat broccoli raw. That's like something I would never fucking. Yeah, nah. I'm genuinely. I'm get a torch out and I'm get the torch out, bitch. For fresh broccoli, I get the torch. Torch. Butane torch. Butane torch. Butane fucking torch.
They could have been out.
Plus broccoli.
It happens.
Put a little oil on it when you're done. And a little chili flakes.
Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning with.
And tell me that doesn't go really well in soup.
One of these peach hard teas.
Right? Couscous is still my favorite
Call
noodle.
it a day, son, but
I'm about to have to go through some chickpea flour. I might make chickpea flour noodles because I need to get rid of it.
It's all good though.
I need to use up almonds soon too. I haven't like had any fucking desire to use them for shit. They've just been sitting around. They've been cold in the dark.
But it's all good.
It's all good. My brain is blanking. Hold on. What? Oh, no, I don't think I've even had it before. I'm really not like a rich food person. Like, it kind of makes me get like pretty nauseous and like a clenched up stomach. I'm usually an acidic food person. Like kimchi, pickled okra.
Shut that real quick.
Salad with a vinaigrette, made at home with love, mostly vinegar, capers.
Chicken strips, chicken tendies from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I must say
there's not much I go for that's creamy offhand.
They're pretty good, you know, if you don't want to deal with
every so often.
Excuse me.
That's kind of how I grew up,
excuse
though.
Me. If you don't want to deal with like your traditional
I grew up
chicken,
with like a really cool
you don't want to deal with like bones
I
and
grew
shit.
up with like a really cool Afghani
I'd
family.
recommend those chicken tendies.
Like that I would mostly hang out with because my family was too goddamn busy for my punk ass ever.
Yeah, that's good twisted tea, man. These are for 21 and up.
Prove it. Show us the label, bitch. There's a label on it.
Twisted Hard Iced Tea Game Day Pack. It's got peach, original half and half, which is lemonade.
I'm still saying,
it's also got
I love
raspberry.
y'all.
I'll try it all 4
I'm not
flavors.
trying to harsh you for it.
They're pretty
but
good.
You shouldn't consume it.
21 and up.
Heart
well, you too.
I understand that you need to talk to your doctor before you give it up.
And if you like the food
but
reviews,
honestly, I'm just saying.
Subscribe and check out the next video when I post
alcohol,
it.
like Cobra's doing. That's why every time he brings it up, I will say I understand you have to stop appropriately and with your doctor's supervision, but please do that.
Hope y'all having a fantastic
not to harsh anybody. Cobra nor
Saturday and have an awesome weekend, man.
However, I linked the fucking autism girl dinner thing here for him.
Also, if you like KFC, I'd recommend those chicken tenders, man. They're pretty good.
Bruh. Lol. Lol. Just lol. Like, point being, the people agree. Okay? It's a thing. It's a fucking thing. It's got all of the food groups. Green, red, crispy, salty, also salty, Yee sauce. Every food group. Sauce. Sweet, salty, crispy. Yep. Green and red. Perfect. Color of crispy. Perfect. Green, red color of crispy. Plus sauce. Outstanding. I know you could be like, bitch, have like better requirements, and I'd be like, but I'm being sarcastic a little bit. You literally have to tolerate me, or else. Okay, I want to play a game. Do you want to play a game together? I want to play a game. It's a single player game.
What you are looking at right now is the line on the opening day of the second McDonald's restaurants in the Soviet Union.
I heart you all. A lot.
The line crossed around several city blocks, creating a few traffic jams and lasting at least a good 10 hours. On January 31st, 1990, over 30,000 people visited the...
I get my blood drawn because I take supplements because of doctor supervision and blood drawn. And also sometimes I have to because, it doesn't matter how much vitamin D you would shove up my ass. I had to address other shit too.
First fast food chain in Moscow to
Like,
try the mysterious capitalist food known as the burger.
My body is
Fast
a
food is something
butthole
that
to
most
me.
of us take for granted. It's
cool.
always been there and it always
I still
will be.
like it a
For
little bit.
Russians and the Soviets, however, that has not been the case. The Soviet Union was a
love
restricted
it, just not
country,
how it
hidden
works
behind the
sometimes.
so-called Iron
Or
Curtain.
ceases to.
No Western goods such as clothes, vehicles, and
Right.
food products were allowed to enter the country.
Here, I'm
Only
moving
certain
stuff so we
members
can
of the
game.
Communist Party elite or celebrities could get the good goodies of capitalism, such as jeans, Snickers bars, and burgers, and Coca-Cola as well. The history of
Coke.
fast food in
Back-
the USSR
Back when it still had cocaine in it.
started out from an argument between the then leader of the USSR, Nikita Khrushchev, and the US vice president at the time, which was Richard Nixon. In 1959, during a Soviet-held exhibition
us
in New
somewhere
York,
cozy.
Nixon and a Pepsi
You can
executive,
fight
Donald
me.
M. Kendall, offered the Soviet
Got
leader
it.
to try some
Got it.
Pepsi. Reportedly, Khrushchev and Nixon got into a heated debate about which is better, communism or capitalism. During this argument, the Pepsi executive Donald M. Kendall came over to Khrushchev and offered them a cup of Pepsi. Khrushchev actually liked the strange black fizzy
They're both an L.
drink. The Soviet city
Hot take. They both pulled an L historically, as and they both pulled a fucking historical L. Historically, constant L.
citizens therefore
Both of them.
became aware of what cola was, and Pepsi saw this as an opportunity to branch out to Soviet Russia.
Neither in a vacuum either.
In 1972, PepsiCo has signed an agreement with the Soviet government
Sometimes because they put each other there.
to stop the sales of cola in the USSR. Due to the
Other times because dickheadery called people tried to do things and it failed. Rawr.
Soviet
Steam
ruble
finally
being
opened.
completely useless as a currency on the global
Yo.
markets and having almost no real value outside of the USSR because it was a closed country, a huge amount of Pepsi Cola
Game
syrup was
pick?
exchanged for an equal amount of Stolichная vodka. Yes, seriously. In order to get Pepsi on the Russian shelves, the Soviets literally traded vodka for cola. This is
Game
really
choices.
not doing anything
Okay,
good.
hold on. I'm picking between Drova, Sekiro and Dark Souls are probably last on my list. I'm kind of stuck between Deadlock and Drova. I kind of want to go for Deadlock. My biggest concern being if we keep having frame latency in the video while we're
For the
doing it.
stereotypes about Russians and vodka, is it? Well, the Stolichная vodka became a big hit in the United States, and so did Pepsi in the USSR. Pepsi's cola syrup was exported from the United States to the US.
I'm tempted to go with there is no compare because, like, unhelpful is unhelpful. I don't need to stack it. I'll call it unhelpful and unhelpful.
USSR,
Easy.
where it was locally mass-produced using the syrup and sold under the Pepsi Cola
I love
brand.
y'all too
A decade
much.
later, in 1989, the
unhelpful-ass
initial agreement of the
motherfuckers
Soviet government with
to do
Pepsi was about
unhelpful
to
shit.
expire, and the USSR needed even more soda. What happened next is one of the most ridiculous and fascinating things I've ever heard. The Soviet government literally traded 17
That was
submarines and 3
actually
Soviet
an advert.
warships, including a frigate, a cruiser, and a destroyer, for $3 billion worth of Pepsi. Yes, seriously. This meant that for
And not even for cock. I like a good cock sometimes. Oh, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola,
For brief moments in the
Coca-Cola,
1980s, PepsiCo became the sixth largest military in the world.
Coca-Cola,
This is
Coke.
insane, okay? I just cannot comprehend this. Pepsi ended up
Sorry,
selling all of the
we're
warships
stuck.
for scrap to some Norwegian or Swedish company. The story gets really shady here, I don't know, honestly. I didn't find any good sources about this, so just trust me on this. And after this
Okay.
insane deal, Donald
Maybe.
M. Kendall, which was the CEO of Pepsi at the time, famously said that his company is disarming the
trust
Soviet
anything.
Union
Let's go
faster
with
than
that.
the US
I
government.
just observe the
Another fun
world.
fact is that Pepsi
That's
also
fun.
apparently
Let's go with
launched a
that.
big
I
ass
like
Pepsi
that.
can into space near the Soviet Mir space station in the 1980s, and it was like a means of advertisement back in the day.
200 miles
Brother.
above the Earth's surface, it was lights, camera, action as Pepsi-Cola, in conjunction with the Russian Mir space station, began production on the first ever television commercial shot in space.
Mission control in Moscow.
Jesus Christ, this is amazing. All these goods coming into the USSR, all the Western stuff, all of
I
this
heard
was
you liked
possible due to the last
capitalism.
leader of the USSR, Mikhail Gorbachev,
Oh,
who
no,
ruled the
wrong
country
button.
from 1985 up to its demise in 1991. Gorbachev is famous for creating the idea of glasnost and perestroika. This was a movement with the aim to reform the country's economy, to westernize the Soviet Union, remove the Iron Curtain, and to battle censorship. Gorbachev is a quite controversial figure in Russian politics. Some people praise him
So
for
haven't you
promoting
got,
liberal
like,
ideas
every
in a
soda
totalitarian
company
country,
in the
while others
States?
claim that he sold
And
the USSR out to the West. Call him a
I think that Nestle was fighting for the right for its providers to be able to leverage slave labor as well, but the providers might be the same providers that sell it to Feastables also, for all we know, seeing as they both had to pull it off when that went through. Or they have like really difficult to suss out lines of distribution anywho's, maybe, I don't know, just saying. Like, to my point being, they might be complicit with like those who are like full bore down to like just enslaved
traitor
kids.
and blame him for the destruction of
Who
the
the
Soviet
fuck is the
Union.
one
I
doing
really
it?
don't want to get into this because I don't want the comments to turn a war zone, okay? So I'm just gonna scoot by,
First.
okay? Thank you. Gorbachev is actually closely connected to the opening of the first Pizza Hut in the USSR. Pizza Hut is owned by Pepsi, so opening
And
a
so are
branch
the
in the
soda
Soviet Union
companies.
was quite easy. Gorbachev
is
himself even
terrifying.
appeared in an infamous Soviet Pizza Hut advertisements.
How do I do this?
Это Горбачев.
Горбачев.
Это из-за него у нас.
I forgot how to attack. Okay, I had to remember.
бардак.
Да благодаря ему у нас новые возможности.
There we go.
Это из-за него у нас политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас свобода,
Полный хаос.
перспективы.
Политическая нестабильность.
Да благодаря ему у нас есть писахат.
За Горбачева!
За Горбачева!
Sometimes nothing brings people together like a nice hot pizza from Pizza Hut.
Yeah, fam, I don't know. That one's gonna be a yikes from me. I'm sorry, okay?
You sure?
That's gonna be a yikes from me. The agreement to open the first McDonald's in the USSR was signed in 1988, but the first restaurant did not open until 1990 at the Pushkinskaya Square in Moscow. I've actually been to this particular McDonald's, and now it looks nothing like it did back then, but it's still pretty cool, I guess. So back then, in 1990, on the first day of the opening of McDonald's, over 30,000 people ate their burglar. This number still stays as an absolute worldwide record for the most people served in one day at a McDonald's. Even though the average
about
salary
other
of a Soviet
restaurants?
worker was
Ooh.
around
Has someone
150
beaten
rubles back
Mickey's
then, and
dicks
only
out?
one burger cost
Has it been
about
Wetties?
1.5 rubles, for which you
It's
could buy
probably
like
Wetties,
8 or 9
honestly.
loaves of bread, people of Moscow still rushed in to try the new mysterious Western capitalist food. KFC in Russia has a very interesting history as well. It first opened up in Moscow in 1993, however it was not actually called Kentucky Fried Chicken. The KFC company partnered with a Russian company called Rosinter, and the fast food chain opened up under the name Rostix. In 1998, KFC and Pizza Hut both left Russia because the business was not profitable. However, both of them returned to the Russian market in the year 2000s. KFC was still known as Rostix until 2005, when both companies decided to rename the brand Rostix
I'm alive
KFC.
because
Finally,
I am
only in
sneaky,
2011,
not
KFC
because I am
bought
good.
out the Russian branch, and
I
the
want
KFC
to be honest
restaurants
here.
in Russia now have the original
I should
KFC
not be a
brand
fucking
name.
live right
Due to
now.
the chicken fast food chain being called differently for such
What
a long
the
time,
fuck?
many people,
Oh,
especially
we've
of
lost
the older
frames
generation,
on
still
the
refer to
video
KFC
again
as
because I'm a
Rostix.
goober.
Subway first
I
unsuccessfully
don't
tried
know
coming to Russia
why
in
it's
1994,
inconsistent.
but they only managed to do
I'm
so
so
in
sorry.
2004.
One
Right
sec.
now, Subway
I'm
has the
curious
biggest
and
amount
must
of
figure this
restaurants
out
around
too.
Russia compared to any other fast food joints. Burger King was
No,
quite
I
late
had
to the
this done
party,
the other
only
day.
opening up its
What
first
changed?
restaurant in Moscow in January 2010. However,
fix it
today
soon.
Burger
I
King
think I
is
know what to
perhaps
do.
the fastest growing
Something's
fast food
hardware
chain
encoding
in
that
all of
shouldn't be.
Russia, due to the
got
company's
this.
aggressive marketing, which often comes off very cringy to be honest, and the fast food chain's great pricing policy. The American fast food chain Wendy's also tried to make it to Russia. The first joint was opened up in Moscow in 2011. However, Wendy's couldn't compete with the likes of McDonald's, Burger King, and KFC, and in 2014, Wendy's left Russia and closed all of its restaurants. It's a real shame because I never got to try it, because I only went to Moscow for the first time in 2015. Sad that I didn't get to eat spicy goodness like a boss.
Jalapeno fresco spicy chicken is so deliciously hot, it's generating reactions from everyone, like the memer.
Whoa! Eat spicy goodness like a boss. Stop! Fucking stop!
Other than that, fast food chains that are present in Russia that need to be mentioned are Domino's, Shake Shack, Carl's Jr., Hesburger, Dunkin' Donuts, TGI Fridays, and Papa John's. Unfortunately, Russia has no Taco Bell, Popeyes, In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, or Five Guys. I cry every time. In the late 90s, Russians started creating their own fast food joints. For example, the Kroshka Kartoshka chain, which does various dishes based on potatoes with different toppings. It was first opened in 1998 and is still active today. Another successful Russian fast food chain is Teremok, which sells the traditional Russian dish known as blini, similar to crepes, with various fillings and toppings. Fun fact, Teremok actually even had a number of restaurants in New York. However, they are no longer in business in the United States. The biggest and currently fastest growing Russian fast food chain is Dodo Pizza. It was opened up in 2011 and right now it's like the biggest pizzeria in all of Russia, and it's actually pretty good. Apparently also recently they opened up a few joints in the United States and in China, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. And you know, it's great pizza. It's like my go-to basically at parties. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. It's probably just because my city doesn't even have Pizza Hut. If we had Pizza Hut, bruh, I'd be on that. I'd be on that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little history lesson on how fast food made its way into the Soviet Union and Russia. I personally find these stories very entertaining. I mean, Jesus Christ, which other country leader ever took part in a fucking Pizza Hut commercial? I mean, we literally made Pepsi the 6th biggest military in the world once.
I'm
it's
the biggest
absolutely
loser.
ridiculous. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash the like button on it and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I'm trying to branch out a little more and do some essay type videos. If you guys want to support me as well,
don't do
make sure
those.
to check out my Patreon down in the description. That will be greatly appreciated. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace. Half-Life 2 is one of my favorite games of all time and holds a special place in my heart, not only because it absolutely blew everyone's minds when it came out and changed video games forever, but also because it was set in a kind of environment that was rarely seen before in any game. Games before it have taken us around fictional universes and the Western world, with a ton of massively popular games of all genres being inspired by and being set mostly in the United States or Western Europe. Half-Life 2 did something different. City 17 with its dystopian post-Soviet aesthetic was a breath of fresh air that introduced many people worldwide to a kind of setting they've never seen before. I also really like City 17 because I practically live in it. Check out this video I recorded like a week ago.
Regen. I want regen. if I weren't struggling on mine,
Yeah,
I could
guys,
help.
they made Half-Life 2 into a real thing. That's kind of crazy, dude.
like,
Back in
this to go
2004,
with.
City 17 was new, exciting, and different. It's such an incredible fusion of the historical architecture of Eastern Europe and characteristic Soviet buildings with the inhuman, grotesque, and gargantuan constructions of the Combine that tower over the old city, almost swallowing it. Pretty much anyone who's ever seen the skyline of City 17 once will remember it forever. The juxtaposition between the old buildings and the massive Citadel Tower created one of the most memorable worlds in any video game period. Half-Life 2 started a trend. Post-Soviet locations have become pretty standard in the video game industry nowadays. The Stalker series with its post-apocalyptic Chernobyl exclusion zone, PUBG, Arma 2, Escape from Tarkov, Call of Duty Warzone, the Metro series, more and more games today are inspired by post-Soviet countries and Eastern Europe than ever, and City 17 is definitely responsible for that. I've always been fascinated by City 17 and the world of Half-Life 2, and in the wake of the recent release of Half-Life Alyx and the overall increased interest in the Half-Life series of the general public, I decided to look into what City 17 was actually based on and inspired by. In this video, we're going to look at how City 17 was created, what was the inspiration behind it, and what it resembles the most in the end. I'm going to be mostly using Half-Life 2 in its episodes as a reference because, let's be honest, most of Half-Life Alyx is just interiors, and I don't have VR either. We are going to look at some stuff from Alyx as well, though, because that game kind of confirms City 17's actual location. Anyway, without further ado, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and today we're going to be discussing the origins of Half-Life 2's City 17.
Meanwhile, I'm still shit.
Half-Life 2's art style was a combined work of many talented artists, however, one of them was the most important. City 17, as well as most of the combined technology and architecture, was designed by Viktor Antonov, an art director and conceptual artist that is famous for his work in the video game industry and his unique style. Apart from working on Half-Life, Antonov also works as the art director for Arkane's Dishonored series. So if you've ever wondered why that game looks like Half-Life so much, here's your answer. Viktor Antonov was born in Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, which, if you don't know, is a country in Eastern Europe that was also heavily affiliated with the Soviet Union. Basically, that means that Sofia has all the goodies we're looking for: historical Eastern European buildings as well as Soviet commune blocks. However, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. When Half-Life 2's initial development started, the Eastern European setting was not yet established. According to Half-Life 2 Raising the Bar, Valve's book about the game's development, the initial vision of the game included a vast array of different locations, taking Gordon Freeman all the way from Washington DC to the Middle East, from the remains of the Earth to alien fortress cities. However, those ideas never quite made it, and the idea of a dystopian city ran by alien invaders as a setting was born. The initial version of City 17 was quite different to what we got in the final game. The oldest concept art shows City 17 as being more of an American city, featuring skyscrapers and architectural elements you'd see in a modern American metropolis. At this stage in development, Valve was mainly doing location research in Seattle, basing a lot of the in-game assets and textures on photos taken in the United States. In fact, thanks to the Half-Life 2 beta leak in 2003 and the work of the modding community, we can now take a look at a lot of the original maps that show what City 17 looks like around 1999 or 2000. City 17 was an American East Coast-like city based on Washington, D.C. In the old City 17, it was never sunny. It was much darker, grittier, and fit the game's early art design. The world of early Half-Life 2 featured an even more Orwellian dystopian society in which the Combine replaced the air with poisonous gas, which made everyone wear masks, and the Combine also used child labor. All of this was cut from the final game. Around 2001, the initial concept was scrapped, and City 17 became what we know it as today. For a while, it still didn't quite look like the final version, even with the Citadel being different, but the idea was there. It was now an Eastern European city. City 17 is a mix of many different post-Soviet and Eastern European cities, featuring buildings and elements from many different countries. The main inspiration, however, was Viktor Antonov's birthplace, Sofia. In his 2016 Reddit AMA, Viktor Antonov was asked about the main inspirations behind City 17, and this was his response. It was based on my childhood city Sofia in Bulgaria. It had mixed elements from Belgrade and St. Petersburg. I wanted to capture the specific atmosphere of Eastern and Northern Europe. According to Raising the Bar, in the early stages of the development of the new Eastern European City 17, Valve gathered photographic reference material from Bulgaria, Russia, and Romania. In the book, Antonov is quoted with saying that one of the reasons that Eastern Europe was chosen as a setting is because it represents the collision of the old and the new in a way that is difficult to capture in the United States. You go over there and you have this collision between all of these things. The new architecture, the old architecture, the fall of communism. There's a sense of this strongly grounded historical place. We left out the Gothic themes associated with Prague and vampires and looked into a different aspects of the region. Sofia inspired the look of City 17 in the smallest details, from the overall lighting to the individual look of buildings and textures, which can be seen in the reference images featured in Valve's book. Russia was more of an inspiration for the Soviet look in architecture, such as the omnipresent commie blocks, as well as being an inspiration for a lot of the locations outside the city. For example, Nova Prospect, which was literally called the Gulag in the early development stages. Russia also inspired some locations in episode 1 and 2, mainly the hospital in episode 1 and the Victory Mine in episode 2. Russian and Bulgarian are also the two main languages that can be seen on posters, signs, and props throughout Half-Life 2 and Alyx. Both of these languages are written in a Cyrillic script, so if you're only an English speaker, then you wouldn't be able to decipher between the two. Don't worry though, I got you. I'm a native Russian speaker, and I will help you understand what is going on when we talk about the languages used throughout City 17. Apart from Russia and Bulgaria, there are many other countries that inspired City 17 in tons of different ways. Let's look at some individual locations and objects within Half-Life 2's world and try to track down their origins. Let's start with the City 17 train station that the player arrives to at the beginning of the game. It's based on a real train station designed by the Eiffel Company, located in Budapest, the capital of Hungary. The stations practically look the exact same, although Viktor Antonov says that the final iteration of the station and its interior was more closely based on the train station near which he lived in Paris, which is the Gare Saint-Lazare. The Overwatch Nexus building in City 17 is basically an identical copy of the building of the Parliament of Serbia located in Belgrade, which makes sense considering that Antonov himself mentioned Belgrade as one of the biggest inspirations. Not only that, but Half-Life 2 also features a Serbian car Zastava 101 as one of the wrecks laying around the city and its outskirts. Speaking of the wrecks cars featured in the game as props, most of them are based on Soviet cars that were widespread in Russia and the rest of the USSR, in particular the Volga, the Zaz, the Moskvich, and the Zil trucks. One of the wrecks also closely resembles an East German Trabant. I assume that the developers just decided to use every single Eastern Bloc and Soviet car imaginable for the scenery, which I love. It was always really fun to see cars you see outside in Russia, or a car that your grandfather drove, on the streets of City 17. There are a few other major cities that are usually named as inspirations and are compared to City 17. For example, Riga, the capital of Latvia, which features a skyline and an architectural style similar to that of City 17. Vilnius, the capital of Lithuania, which features narrow streets similar to ones in City 17. St. Petersburg, Russia, which is not only one of the biggest inspirations according to Antonov, but also is similar to City 17 in the way that it has no skyscrapers in the city center and features a lot of canals. Not only that, but St. Petersburg has their own real-life citadel now, and it is uncanny. I should make a vlog on it or something, I swear to God. The other city that is often mentioned is Odessa, Ukraine, which is a coastal city just like City 17. In-game, there's also a settlement outside of City 17 called New Little Odessa, which might be a reference to the Ukrainian city. City 17 is also often compared to Sevastopol, Crimea, which is a port city on the Black Sea. The coastal terrain immediately outside of City 17 is very similar to the shores and coasts of the Black Sea around Sevastopol. The extensive network of docks and harbor facilities seen in some chapters is consistent with Sevastopol's status as a major port and the base of the Russian Black Sea naval fleet. Lastly, there are the Romanian cities of Constanța and Bucharest, which feature a lot of the buildings similar to those in City 17. The coastal paths in the Half-Life 2 chapter Highway 17 also features some similarities to the Romanian coast. Moreover, the train station timetable in Half-Life 2 actually has writings in the Romanian language on it, and Romanian can be seen on a few other signs in the game. Now let's get to the most interesting part, the languages used on signs, props, and writings throughout Half-Life 2 and its episodes, as well as the new information from Half-Life Alyx, which basically confirms City 17's actual location. City 17 features a lot of Bulgarian writing. One clear example is Tsiment or Cement, which is written across the top of a large building in Ravenhall, and the only language that spells the word cement in this way using the Cyrillic alphabet is Bulgarian. Also, in Half-Life 2, a newspaper prop can be seen entitled Работническое дело. This was a real Bulgarian newspaper, being the most popular in Bulgaria during its communist period. There is a ton of Russian writing in Half-Life 2 as well, the most prominent examples being the hospital sign in episode 1, which says Stacionar, as well as the Victory Mine in episode 2, which says Шахта Победы имени 50-летия, which isn't even grammatically correct or makes that much sense, because I think they were trying to say Шахта имени 50-летия Победы, but whatever. Regardless, it's pretty damn Russian. Half-Life Alyx features even more Bulgarian writings. For example, electrical panels have warnings in Bulgarian written on them. There are also quite a few advertisements in the city that are in Bulgarian. Once again, I don't personally own a VR headset and I have not yet played Alex, but just by looking at an online walkthrough, it seems to me that there is far more Russian text in the game. It can be seen on tons of props and signs, and apparently even the newspapers featured in the game that are talking about in-game events are also written in Russian. Moreover, the in-game chapter that takes place at a zoo features a ton of text and all of it is in Russian.
No.
Instead of showing you guys tons of examples, I wanted to point out one very interesting detail that I've noticed. In the sequence in the beginning of the game, when Alex has to get on a train to get to the quarantine zone, an interesting poster can be seen inside the interior of the train. It's some sort of beer advertisement in Russian, but what's more interesting is that the advertisement is actually written using the pre-revolutionary, pre-reformed Russian orthography, using letters and rules that have been omitted in 1918 by the newly formed Soviet governments. Here's the reason why I find this very interesting. Half-Life Alyx basically confirms that City 17 is indeed Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, because in the game you actually have the map of the city, which appears during loading screens. The fans were able to extract the model from the game and make a fan-made 2D map based on this in-game map, and if you lay it on top of the real city of Sofia, it's exactly the same. It is actually bizarre how similar it is, since even the roads line up to real-life roads in Sofia. Another interesting detail is that at the beginning of Half-Life Alyx, a globe can be seen and interacted with, on which the US is crossed out, and the globe has an arrow drawn on it pointing to a massive circled zone within Eastern Europe, which basically confirms that City 17 is an Eastern European city. Here's the thing, if City 17 really is in Bulgaria, then what's up with this old pre-USSR times Russian posters laying around the city? And why is so much of the text in the game in Russian? It really messes with my brain. I assume that the developers at Valve just decided that ultimately nobody would really care, and that to someone who can't read Cyrillic in the first place, it will make no difference. Most people can't even tell the difference between Russian and Bulgarian anyway, because they look exactly the same to them. But to me it does matter, and it does matter to millions of Russians and Bulgarians arguing online right now whether City 17 is Russian or Bulgarian. Come on, Valve, we don't need any more tensions between the Slavic nations. But well, I guess it's not so bad. I mean, after all, City 17 and Half-Life 2 did not have any linguistic consistency either, featuring text in Bulgarian, Russian, and Romanian. So this time, we're at least sticking to the Cyrillic scripts, which is good. So I guess guys, this is what you clicked this video for. This is the ultimate answer to what inspired City 17 and what it's actually based on. It's either every single Eastern European city imaginable or Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria. Well, let's just give it to the Bulgarians, okay? You guys win. City 17 is yours. Поздравления за победата ви, приятели. Anyways guys, that is going to be pretty much it for today's video. I hope you guys did like this little excursus into the history of City 17 and what it was inspired by. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more Russian and post-Soviet stuff. And also guys, if you want to support my channel, make sure to go over down in the description to my Patreon link, support it. I would gladly appreciate it, and it'll actually help me out a lot. Thank you guys so much once again for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.
When I keep the window captive, it doesn't give a fuck. The second I mouse out, it does. This is what is irritating, is that it's like really finicky over when it gives a fuck.
Does anyone think that everything is bullshit?
I'm not sitting for an hour of this man right now.
This one clip describes Sneako's entire...
Over the past couple of years, media platforms
this is
and
2
services
hours.
have been cracking down on what's allowed and what gets
No, homie. Not 2 hours.
One of the most mysterious
Catch me with that
characters in
tomorrow.
Pokemon lore is N.
An hour?
He's found as...
I will fight you. Every obscure Pokemon ever will be back.
Oh, you go, girl. Oh,
okay,
you go,
this'll work.
Girl. I know you go, girl.
I'm sorry.
Right, guys, it is that time where we're going to be
like,
looking
in advance,
through
I'm sorry.
a middle-aged man's TikTok and taking the mic, because what else have I got to do with my time? If you don't know who Paul Breach is, he's a middle-aged TikToker who likes to post cringy dance videos like this online and has absolutely zero shame, and should I mention, also allegedly got a 16-year-old girl pregnant when he was around 25. So he's a great guy. Enjoy his content.
I missed and used my thingy at the wrong
with me
time.
as we take the absolute
I middle moused when I didn't mean to.
out of this man. Enjoy. What exactly am I seeing? What I don't understand. What the caption says, my naughty nun era. What's the caption got to do with nuns? Am I missing something? I'm probably missing something, but I mean, I don't think any amount of context can save this man, because what on earth are you doing at your big age doing dance videos like this?
Reasons.
You're not even dancing anymore. You're just doing the old TikTok musically, like, that's anime, right? I don't fucking know. Just don't do this. I was going to say stick to what you usually do, but that would involve kids, so... there wasn't even a punchline to that, was there? Also, allegedly on the end of that, because I don't want any legality issues. Not that this man has the funds to sue me. Moving on.
Hi. We're combing through the watch later. It's pretty something or other there.
Oh, I hate this man. And also, please don't mention school photos, Paul, in any of your TikToks. That's really incriminating, especially because your type do probably still have their school photos taken. I reckon he's reminiscent about his school era because he wishes he could go back, so it would be more socially acceptable to continue boning minors. For a sec, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say about this one, and then I looked in the comments more often, and I guess that speaks for itself. I feel like it's bad enough to do this when you're in the comfort of your own home, but to actually go out in a public space and film this TikTok, it's genuinely a different level of psychopath. I just noticed he's live as well, so let's hop in his live and see if we can absolutely just traumatize him.
They can't give consent, so of course I don't hug them. Why can't they give consent? Every resident is different. They might be end of life and bedridden, but they've still got eyes.
Video lagging because of window not in focus. Thank you. About config.
Don't you, as a nurse, should know that you don't treat every resident exactly the same, whether it's an end of life facility or not.
Oops.
Every resident is an individual human being with wants and needs. Like every human being who's not in a residential.
Oh my good lord, what a time to join. Paul is basically currently live defending the fact that he used to be a care worker, and he admitted that he would kiss and be kind of like affectionate with his residents. And he's saying that every resident is different and they might give you signs that they want to be kissed and touched, which is holding a gaze. Paul.
If my care worker ever did that to me, I'd start crying.
Paul, let me just say, I think maybe some of the like 90-year-old women with like crippling Alzheimer's or dementia may lock eyes with you, but that is not an invitation, Paul, to shove your wormy little fucking tongue down their mouth, okay? That's not an invitation.
Even if someone thought something off of me.
So what an interesting time.
If they did the whole nine,
I used to look after a lady with Down syndrome and a ventilator. I held her hand walking down the corridor. Is that okay? Was that okay? You just choose to see what I comment.
I mean,
no.
My friends and I would hold like lock arms and skip.
Paul, you wish they were being childish. You'd like that, wouldn't you? You would like that, wouldn't you?
But like,
and also, I mean, yeah, holding hands with a resident is a little bit different to kissing them. And look, I'm not saying that like as a human being with compassion, there aren't maybe times and scenarios where you can show affection towards like someone who's towards end of life, because it's a horrible time. I feel like to make a resident feel welcome should hold the hands more without making it. I don't know what the rules are, but say it's not against the rules to do that. At least you ask them, like, can I do this?
You know,
like I feel like isn't that just common sense? All people aren't exempt
it's reasonable
from consent.
To like have
In
contact
fact, if
with people
anything,
without having
you should
like
be extra careful with old people because they have no
strange.
idea what's going on. And as a man who is not...
Then again, I say that with consideration to like my homie who like, you know, we kind of hung out every day. We worked together. We talked shit together. The same dude asked us out within the same week. Like, I'm pretty sure within like the same 3 days he asked out both of us and like someone that lived like really close by me at the same time, and it was like wild because like we all talked a little bit of shit too.
Suffering with any form of mental issue. Well,
also,
you are, but not in terms of anything that comes with old age. You know,
I'll give you the link for what I did.
You're not getting forgetful. You're not getting confused. Well, yeah, I suppose. you technically could fall under some of these descriptions. But what I'm saying is, you're
Let's
not
see
like
if
an
it
old
works.
person. And I don't know. It just seems a little bit weird, Paul, to die on this hill.
You're
Just how
seeing about what I
say,
see.
yeah, maybe it was a little bit weird, should have done it. But then you don't really do that with anything, so.
Resolution.
So you got sacked
There we go.
people.
Fixed.
Yeah, because it's bringing the home into disrepute, isn't it? Didn't it? Like, I'm quite famous. My name's famous. Famous. Yeah, I just want to talk about it. They can't sack you for doing nothing wrong. Well, I wish I got my union afterwards, to be honest. I didn't have a union at the time. So, I'm gonna went there. Where did I go? Anyhow. So, yeah. And then I got a job in care straight after that. And then I got a job in care straight after that. Yeah, hello, you. Oh, yeah. I know you're back. I'll finish in a minute. So I got a job in care after that care, and then I got a job in care after that care. So, if I'd done something wrong, it would have been on my permanent record, wouldn't it? Oh, wait
Maybe
a minute.
not,
So a
'cause
DBS
people
or an enhanced DBS comes back clear.
Maybe it wouldn't be,
and I can
honestly.
just walk into a care job after passing
I don't
an
know.
interview.
Would it be?
Twice.
Not unless someone ratted on you.
So have I ever gone
That's
back
why
to
people
care?
say Twitch is
I've got no
moderation
idea.
shit, because no one rats on each other
I might
enough.
just
You
become
know?
a
The fuck?
dancing troll in the woods. I don't know yet.
Oh shit.
He's not going to go back to working in care. They're like 50 times the age he likes. Like, there's no way. He's got a type, and care worker. Well, actually.
Should just be powerless.
Seems like he has a history with them, but I think he has a preference for some younger people. That's all I'm going to say. And anyway, it's live. I don't want to give him views, man. Let's go back to watching his TikToks.
Boosh.
No, the long distance he's referring to is actually the time frame. Paul's like 40 years ahead.
Space-time.
That's the long distance. I'm not funny. I
Like,
should
the
stop.
lag on this. It is imposed by what I'm doing. It's still happening. It's just less severe. So, I keep looking at processing.
This man must be deleting his comments because he
Shit.
doesn't get any
I'll check
negative
again
comments
soon
anymore. So
how
I'm
the
guessing he
processor's
filters
cooking
them
itself,
out. But
but
Paul, what else would be
I'm
a
pretty
flex
sure
is
GPU
if
is
you
allocated
didn't
in a
have
reasonable way.
multiple
We'll check.
weird allegations against you. I would say that's a flex. Right now, I'm flexing the fact that I don't have multiple allegations made against me. But you keep on flexing your energy at 5 a.m, Paul. You've got something that we don't have. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but basically, sometimes when I edit and I upload, I like to watch the video back with my boyfriend because he
I
wants to
just
watch
do
the
it on
video,
my
and
own.
also sometimes I want to see myself, I guess, from an outside
See if I
perspective,
fuck up.
to see what I can improve about my videos,
Sometimes.
or maybe what I did wrong, or just
I
just
do-
get a little idea of
okay,
how I'm doing.
sometimes I do
And
right away.
Sometimes, like,
Sometimes
I'll
I
look at
wait.
my boyfriend or my flatmate's facial expressions when they're reacting
think
to my
on what I
videos,
fucked
and
up.
they'll be looking at the content I'm reacting to, and they'll look genuinely like sick, and they'll be like cringing
horrified.
physically.
That-
And I've got to a point where it doesn't even get to me like that anymore. And I don't know what that says about me, but my brain is so full of brain rot after doing this type of content that it takes a lot to cringe me out. Don't get me wrong, I recognize how like cringe it is, but it doesn't give me that feeling of like, oh, anymore. I don't get that anymore, and I don't know how to feel about it. I kind of miss it. And before anyone says, like, you're just hating on a man that's exploring his gender identity, I don't want to hear any of that, okay? Because I firmly don't believe that that is what this man is doing. I don't think that's what he's doing at all. I think he's genuinely just an attention seeker, and he will do
Yes,
anything
wrong
to
move.
continue the clout
That'll
or
work.
to distract from the fact that, in reality, what made him famous was allegations that he impregnated a 16-year-old. I genuinely don't think at all he is out there exploring his sexuality. That's my, and like, tell me I'm wrong, because I can't be for sure on that, but it just doesn't seem like that. I think he genuinely started dressing in women's clothes because it's his girlfriend's clothes, and he just wants to show people he's got a girlfriend. That's genuinely it.
Hey, this will all be over. You'll have to sit with yourself and know you did this for views and... Oh, Derek, that's why I make TikToks. I don't do it to fix global warming. I do it for you to watch it. And you know what, Flower Fairy? I think that might not be your real name, but it might be. You watched it. Love it. I will sit down with myself, I promise you, in 78 more years, and I'll look at myself and wait, you made TikToks for people to watch. Who do you, shoulder, think you are? Me. And I look divine. I look slay. I look like a king and a queen and a pookie and all the other words in the mix as well. You digest it and you watched it. This is for me to post that and have a giggle.
Not watching any more of that. It's good that you find it funny, Paul, because genuinely, hand on heart,
We find it, Paul.
I don't think anyone's watching this cracking a smile. The person is right, Paul. You may think at the moment that this is funny and entertaining and worth it for like the £7 per TikTok you're making, but it's not. I promise you it's not worth it. Just like when you're 15 and you do things that are actually really embarrassing, but you don't realise it at the time, you look back now and think, damn, that was really embarrassing. That's what is gonna happen. Except all the embarrassing things I did at 15 aren't documented online, Paul. They're not documented on the internet for the rest of eternity. So really just rethink yourself, please.
Paul says no. Paul will not be rethinking self. Paul is busy being Paul.
Why? Just why? There should be laws that ban this type of content. I actually don't even know what to say anymore. Moving on.
No, I'm not. Holy shit, I didn't. Oh, I did.
Who is like volunteering themselves, and I hope they're getting paid. And we get it, Paul, you've got 3 women in the room with you. Are they over the age of 18 though? Probably not. I think I've had enough, guys, to be honest. It's not even a long video, is it? But can you blame me, to be honest? Can you actually blame me for not wanting to watch any more of this shite? You made it this far, you're a trooper, you truly are.
Thank you.
You deserve the best, and the best is subscribing to me, so hit that sub button.
I do.
And don't forget to subscribe to my second channel, guys, because alas,
I deserve the mediocrity that I bring.
I don't know, I just wanted to say the word alas, but you should follow it because I'm going to start posting a lot more on there. Maybe some rants, maybe some talks about stuff I care about, or maybe just some re-uploads of what I've already posted. I can't promise that won't happen. Thank you very much for watching, sub to both, and I'll see you next time.
Dating sims.
Rushing
There's
back.
a kind of game not really especially understood or appreciated by the English-speaking world.
I'll be fine.
While it has an eternal position as joke fodder, the genre itself is not especially alive and well these days, having more or less died at roughly the tail end of the PS2's lifespan. You don't see them much anymore, and especially not as tentpole AAA releases from major publishers. But for a time, specifically the late 90s, the genre was a genuine cultural phenomenon in Japan. And no dating sim was more iconic than Konami's Tokimeki Memorial, a series that rode high as one of Konami's defining franchises until it all came crashing to an abrupt halt, taking the entire surrounding genre with it, relegating it as the butt of lazy April Fool's jokes forevermore. So, what happened? How did that happen? How did an entire genre up and die within the span of a console generation? This is a story of love, loss, and Tokimeki Memorial. So, there's actually a lot of ground to cover here, and the first thing I've got to establish is what a dating simulator actually is as a genre, because odds are good we are not on the same page about this, but it is critical to our understanding going forward. I'm not going to get super
Only if you're
into the weeds on it,
including,
because genre definitions are all semantics and where brain cells go to die, but the broad distinction I'm making is the difference between a romantic-themed visual novel where the story progresses in a linear fashion with maybe some branching choice options, and a dating simulator. Emphasis on simulator.
Internet
Dating
Cafe
simulators are
Evolution
essentially offshoots of
has
like
one
simulation
inside
games
of
with
it.
naturally
That's
a
what I'm
focus
trying to
on
get at.
romance. Tokimeki
It
Memorial,
has
for
a dating
instance, can't figure
simulator
the role of
feel
someone entering their
inside
first
of
year
it.
of
I
high
think I
school.
could
You
be
take them
wrong.
through 3 years of high school life, raising your stats through various means, and the events of the game change reactively
Yellow Lane's
to
still
that, like a
fine.
mini RPG. Genealogically speaking, this genre has roots closer to so-called raising games, like Princess Maker, than it does to the visual novel, even if the two genres often have similar styles of presentation. Not all of these games necessarily look like spreadsheets, though. Various games in the genre have different ideas about what it means to simulate. But as a general rule, dating sims are mechanically driven, visual novels are not. There's a lot of words that have been written attempting to define, say, the difference between a JRPG and a Western RPG, which is a debate I am absolutely not here to settle. But the most commonly accepted, if not incredibly precise distinction, is that JRPGs focus more on character-driven linear storytelling, while Western RPGs tend to emphasize player freedom
I'm skipping
and
us past the hour-long
This is
thing.
vibes-based, and I'm not presenting this as flawless.
You'll fight me.
What's up, trainers? This is
15
the
minutes.
Man here.
I can't sort them. If I could, I fucking would.
The greatest franchise
I'm
ever.
considering
I
using
have
the
so many
API to
fond
try to sort
memories
them.
of capturing
But like,
all
I
the
don't
pocket
fucking
monsters.
know.
And
I'm torn.
Like me,
like,
should
you
continue
try being
purchasing
indecisive
all
and me. It's
Pokemon-related
hard.
products online or at your local retailers.
Also,
be
I'm
on the
letting down
lookout
my
for any
team.
games, products that might be plagiarizing this incredible IP. We can't have anything tarnishing the beloved Pokemon brand. Be sure to report these criminals to your local authorities and... Oh god. Keep purchasing Pokemon products, please. Please help. Help me. Take a shot. Help me, they're right outside. Help. Shit.
The important thing to know is that I fired at him, alright? And I missed.
For God's sake.
No, I missed. Whew. Dodged a bullet there. What's up, everybody? This is the Act Man here. And today, Nintendo's assassins just tried to execute me. But since they only brought one round, we're kind of at a stalemate. Pace up! They're still sitting outside my house as I record this. And the reason they're there is I intend to talk about their recent lawsuit and the big Pokemon leaks. Nintendo, recent lawsuit. Which one, Act Man?
Shit.
Good one. Yeah, right? It seems like Nintendo is always on the warpath when it comes to litigation.
Cocky, arrogance.
Obviously, any company has a right to protect their
Die,
IPs and
die,
their brand.
die.
But I think we'd all agree Nintendo is overzealous. Let's be real, guys. Nintendo would sue an orphanage if they found out an Italian kid named
Yeah, there's a
Luigi
lot
lived
there. I don't want that.
They have a long history of taking down YouTube videos that have gameplay of Nintendo games. They've sued modders and destroyed channels that archive music where Nintendo doesn't make that music readily available. Would you believe it? I was going through the history books and it turns out they also tried to sue Blockbuster in order to, pun intended, block them from renting out video games to people. Nintendo later sued Blockbuster again for reprinting manuals, and the two settled out of court. The point is, Nintendo's always been insatiable and out for blood when it comes to litigation, and that hasn't changed in the last 35 years.
Do I need to
and recently,
or
they
restart?
declared that they were suing Pocket Pair, the developers of Pal World. We all love Nintendo's games and what they've created over the last 40 years. And some folk are so passionate that they make their own non-profit fan creations. They try to preserve games or emulate them. And Pal World was one of those games that really seemed to take inspiration from Pokemon and iterate on that formula in a way that Pokemon simply hasn't, or at least hasn't pushed far enough. The bottom line is that Nintendo has a terrible reputation when it comes to preserving their games, making them easily available. No, we're not going to re-release this game. If you want to play it, pay $500 for it on eBay, but don't pirate it. Don't you dare fucking pirate it. Emulation, more like cease and desistation. And that was really bad even for me. So many fans see fit to take matters into their own hands to preserve the games they love. And Nintendo may be full within their legal rights to take action against people. It just sucks that it has to be this way, you know? But there's a lot to talk about with this Pal World Nintendo lawsuit. And this is yet another story in what happens when games get leaked. If you watched my reviews of Pal World, Scarlet and Violet, you know that I've felt disillusioned with Pokemon as of late. I feel like the series has gotten ridiculously stagnant. It's 10 times easier to beat a Pokemon game now than it was when I was a kid. And Game Freak just seems like they're really lazy. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who found the formula and style of Pal World so refreshing. In like an
we had shit balance in the days of my youth. Right? We had shitty balance, okay? Don't even. It was terrible.
Power World still sits as the game with the 3rd highest all-time peak concurrent player count on Steam, which is no easy feat to accomplish. But these
Even
days,
while
the
getting
game
fucked
has
by
only
Nintendo.
retained a mere fraction of that audience. Regardless, I thought the game was really fun, unique, and that it had that sort of innovation I've been hoping
Purple
to see from
and
the Pokemon
minor hit
franchise.
hardest, I think.
Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, on the other hand, were not happy at all with the success of Power World.
It should have been me, not him!
Which again was developed by Pocket Pair, which is also another Japanese company. And that might be important because maybe Nintendo is trying to get rid of some of their internal competition. Now, we all saw the similarities between some of the pals and some famous Pokemon. Nah, I don't see this one. I don't see this one. Pikachu? Nah. Sparkit came first. Some of this shit really is blatant. Like, let's just flip the teeth upside down. Yeah, same thing with the teeth and the eyes. Even the trident, you know.
Ignore it. Just trust me. We're ignoring them. They don't exist.
Lucario
We're tightening up on our way.
Anubis. So yeah, looking at these comparisons, I think we all expected Nintendo and the Pokemon Company to clap back with some kind of lawsuit. Little did we realize it wouldn't be for copyright infringement, but a patent infringement.
What?
That's right. Nintendo isn't suing Pocket Pair because of these designs being, you know, copied. If you guys remember, there were allegations that Pocket Pair had literally ripped Pokemon assets and just slapped their own skin over it and made very few changes. But here's the thing.
Going back to
if
yellow.
Nintendo can sue someone for copyright infringement,
that was okay.
they're going to.
That was like an
Nintendo
okay
would
timed
sue
little
themselves
dip away
given the
from my
opportunity.
responsibility.
But what's strange is that we haven't learned the exact reason or what exact patent Nintendo is suing Pocket Pair for, but many have speculated on the reason why. As for what type of patents Pocket Pair might be infringing on, I have a few theories. A few game theories. I heard some people talk that maybe they have a patent on like catching critters with a ball. I don't know how you patent a mechanic like that, but
The shape?
if they can
Patent
do it,
balls.
Nintendo and Game Freak
Patent
will.
balls,
I can't
so they
really
have to
think of
pull that
many
old
other
South
games
Park
where you
episode
catch
about Randy
things
hopping on his
and then they live in a
nutsack.
ball. I've also heard
That'll be
people
funny.
say that
I'm here
the
for
way
it.
the ball opens as a mechanic
Not really
in video
here
games,
for it, but
I
you
think
know, I'll
Power
take it.
World's balls open in two
Weirder
halves,
shit's happened.
while Pokeballs have a
2020
latch and
fuck
open
for.
like this.
I'll
So I don't
take
know
what I
if
can
that's the
get.
case. Maybe Pocket Pair can get by on a technicality. I really don't know. Regardless, I think most people are rooting for Pocket Pair to come out on top
I'm waiting
in this
for my current
scenario,
things now.
given that they're going up
For
against
now.
giant evil corporation. Now, in this PC Gamer article, they interviewed somebody who's a patent lawyer who basically said that Nintendo is taking a pretty big risk pursuing this lawsuit, as if it doesn't hold up, if they don't win, there's a chance they might lose that patent. Now, I'm no expert in patents. I understand why they are a thing, and sometimes a company creates something that's very unique and they want to retain all rights and control of it. In the realm of video games, however, it seems like patents only serve to stifle creativity in the industry and limit what other developers are allowed to create. Remember how Warner Brothers patented that Nemesis mechanic from Shadow of Mordor? That system where you could
That
fight
was a
different
very
orc leaders.
obnoxious
and it was
thing for
procedurally
them to
generated. It was
put
like this really
ownership
cool
on.
rival system, and you could
Gross.
defeat the leadership of the orcs. This feature was super cool and unique, and it's an idea that should be allowed
being
to
a
be
goose.
expanded upon and iterated on by other developers. And yet, it's only been used in 2 games, and the rest of us gamers are just left wondering how this system could have been brought to other franchises and other RPGs if that patent didn't exist. Imagine this. What if PUBG had successfully patented the Battle Royale genre, like the Battle Royale game mode? I don't know if they tried or were able to do that at all. I mean, crazier things have happened. But what if they had also won their lawsuit against Epic Games and Fortnite was shut down? Imagine what life would be like if Fortnite was shut down in 2018. We would have lost this. And you wouldn't be able to play as Peter Griffin and fight Goku over the Thanos gauntlet. And I don't want to live in that world. Thankfully, we don't. I think it's pretty obvious that if Nintendo and the Pokemon Company had their way, if their wish was granted, Power World would just be completely shut down and Pocket Pair would go bankrupt. But we need games like Palworld. We need games like Fortnite because direct competition means that we win as consumers. Because companies have to work harder to earn
more
our
consumer
money.
protections.
They have to make better
We don't need
products,
copyright.
innovate,
We need consumer
and create
protections.
something fresh and new that we're going to be interested in. By trying to find some legal loophole to take down Palworld, I think it's pretty clear that Pokemon doesn't want competition. They don't want to make better games. And Pokemon has been the most static franchise, I think, in my lifetime. And yes, it is the most profitable, but it's not the most fun.
Was I just bleeding?
I guess I just wish
I
that
bet.
Game Freak
Hold on.
would work as hard as
Serrated
Nintendo's
knives.
legal
Yes,
team
I
does
was
when it comes
okay.
to making
Bleeding.
Pokemon
I'm such a
games.
goober.
But I digress.
Goofers.
Isn't it strange that just a week or two after
Can I have?
Nintendo filed a lawsuit against Palworld, there was a massive amount of info leaked from Game Freak?
This is impossible!
And now we're going to take a look at some of what leaked.
Weapons.
There
Yes,
is no
Lord.
God. He abandoned us
never
the
was a God.
moment this leak was
I ate
revealed.
your God.
My childhood has
Quicksilver
been
Reload.
irreparably damaged by reading some of this.
You ever think
crap.
that maybe Nintendo would stop being anti-consumer?
Why would you do this?
Oh wait, you ever think Sony would stop being anti-consumer? Oh wait, you ever thought Ubisoft would stop being anti-consumer?
How much of this I can show
I know,
you?
right? How did you
Yeah,
did
the
you like having
assassins are
hope?
Still out there.
How was
you
it
know
when
what,
it
fuck
lasted?
We'll look at some stuff. But apparently Game Freak had their servers hacked back in August, and they said that sensitive employee information had been leaked. But as of this moment, I
Sony
don't
got hacked
believe
because
they've
they're
directly
anti-consumer.
addressed the
I'm sticking
Pokemon
to
leaks.
it.
Makes
That's
you
why they
wonder
got
if this is
popped.
just pure
Being so
coincidence.
staunchly
If they were hacked
anti-consumer,
back in
no one likes
August,
them.
Why reveal all this stuff
Maybe I'm
now,
fucking wrong. I
so
don't
soon
fucking know.
after
I don't
the
do shit.
Palworld lawsuit? Maybe it's a coincidence,
Eesh.
but as one trained in the Force.
You know that true coincidences are rare.
I won't share too much about their upcoming projects,
How'd
like
you know I
games
was
that they
trained
have
in the
planned,
Force?
because, you know, maybe some people
That's
watching this
weird.
just want to wait for official announcements so they can be surprised and hyped
Regrets.
and, you know, not have that spoiled for them. But if you want to look that stuff up, well, just be prepared for Nintendo's assassins to show up outside of your house. Those fuckers are everywhere. Now, there were some innocuous things that got leaked, like beta Pokemon designs from various generations, which I think are really
Beta.
cool. This one kind of looks like Drudagon, Genesect. I don't know. Oh, this is Hydreigon. And look at this shit. Actually, that's like the Floatzel inner tube thing. Does he wear an inner tube? I don't know. This is supposed to be Mudkip, though. An early version of Mudkip. I like this Trico, and I think the real Torchic is better. But look at this shit. Look at this early version of Metagross. What
I'm such a
holy
goober.
abomination
Oh my
is
fuck.
this? It kind of makes you wish we got
Do you know how
some
much I suck? I just went
darker,
around a
more
corner,
mature
the wrong
Pokemon
corner.
games.
That's all.
Look at
I
this
couldn't left and
Nightmare
right
Fuel,
again.
Cacturn.
I never could do that.
It's very interesting
We're not
looking at this
surprised.
stuff. Some of these early designs, they almost look like Pokemon that came out of that Pokemon Fusion thing. I think a lot of this stuff is really cool. I mean, it's always nice to see behind the scenes stuff for
True.
your favorite
But the
franchises.
phrasing
I have
really
no
fucked
idea
me
how
up.
someone managed to get these ancient files. I mean, pre-release sprites of Gen 3 Pokemon, that goes back a few
Active
years.
searching.
But I'm also
Hold on.
curious as to why Nintendo has never released this stuff officially. I think maybe looking at some of the other leaks will answer that question. You know, fans are always hungry for more.
I never got to
Then
play
again,
Palworld.
when
Everyone
we
I
look
know
at what
did.
else
I
was
just
leaked, maybe the
I'm a
company
goober
never
and I
should have opened
suck.
that weapons
That's why.
cache. So one of the leaked
I need to
Pokemon
check yellow.
stories written by Game Freak was
I need to make
about
sure
a
there's no
girl
one here.
married a Pokemon.
Ew, brother. Ew.
What's that?
Married a Typhlosion.
Typhlosion? What are you laughing at?
Because she was tricked into thinking it was a human, and they end up having a child together.
Oh, that happened a lot in early Pokemon stories, though. And I don't just mean the odd stuff.
Hybrid.
Like,
the girl's father
wait, the
finds
old
out
flavor text
and
was
kills the
really
Typhlosion.
fucked up.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
I used to think I'd read and heard it all, but this isn't some Vaporeon fanfic. This is written by Game Freak. Now, to be fair, we don't know what the
Little
context
convergence.
of this story is, or if they ever
Brown
intended
green.
on implementing it in a
we
game or
care?
something. I've heard people saying that
We
some
want
of
their
these
green.
tales are meant to reflect
blue. We want
mythology
this.
and folk tales, but it's just very jarring as a Pokemon fan who's seen this franchise from my childhood to read some of this stuff. I mean, there's some dark stuff in Pokemon, but, you know, some of this stuff, it doesn't hold a candle to Lavender Town. Now, obviously, none of this stuff was released, so it's not canon, and for good reason. These ideas were left on the cutting room floor. But it is entertaining to make fun of them, as people have been doing on Twitter. You know, I have the chat logs here. I just came here to get some berries. How it feels to be a Typhlosion fan right now. Yeah, whatever you do, don't look up the Slack-Off story. Don't look that up. Don't read it. Don't. I think this video would get demonetized if I read some of this.
Was me getting
So at the end of the
actually
day,
lucky.
I think Pokemon fans are
I'm
reasonably
being
shocked
fucked
by
from
some of these
behind.
revelations,
Hold
all
on.
of this shit coming out at once. I'm not sure how to feel about the leaks. Part of me
I'm
is
stealing
happy
their
to see
points if
some
I
of the
get
old
away. That's why I'm
concept art
running,
and
okay?
scrap Pokemon
It's not
designs
just
from
because
the
I'm a
games I
coward, it's
love.
because I'm stealing
I
their
enjoy
fucking
seeing
points with my body.
behind-the-scenes stuff, and
Woot.
I think it's really cool to get
That's
an
why I wanna
inside
get
look
back,
at the design
right?
process. See early concept art for one Pokemon and then compare it to the final
wanna
design. But
steal
the
their
other part of
shit.
me wishes I could live in a world
I
where I
can.
still thought Typhlosion was a cool Pokemon. Regardless, these leaks come at a very interesting time where Nintendo is dealing with the major
Oosh.
lawsuit against a competitor, and I think this is just gonna piss them off. And so it... Oh, it looks like they're getting some ammo delivered. Okay. If I mysteriously disappear, I didn't take my own life. Just remember that. Just remember that. But what do you think about the recent leaks and the lawsuit? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the Act Man for more awesome content. All right, everyone, that's all I got for today. This is the Act Man signing out.
Take shot.
Peace.
Tango down.
Got him.
It
Well,
is
we lost another one to
difficult say
Nintendo.
which game from my childhood
What a
had
day,
the
what a
largest
day.
impact on me growing up. Was it the
Oofers.
countless hours of Warcraft 3, or was it the frightening terrors of my adolescent playthrough of Doom 2? Certainly, it couldn't have been the first time that I ever defeated Paper Mario on the GameCube. No, although those do have a special place in my gaming career, I do not believe that they have created such a lasting effect as Guild Wars 1.
Oh, Guild Wars 1 was my
Or,
life.
Simply put, Guild Wars Prophecies. This
Oh, it
game
was my
has
fucking
created
life. That was my
memories that
game
have
of choice. It
lasted
took
a
up my existence.
lifetime.
I didn't
And
sleep.
honestly, its simplistic
That was the
approach
first
brings
game
a
that I didn't
smile to
sleep or
the
eat
face
to
of
keep
this
playing.
weary gamer to
Holy
this
shit.
very day.
That game
So
was
sit
my
down, grab
everything,
a cup of
balls.
coffee and listen why Guild Wars was
Hi.
the best game that I never played. Guild Wars 2 has been a
15
staple
minutes,
in my
let's go.
game library for many years, and more so recently.
It's one of my
As I've played
favorites.
through the game, I've enjoyed all that it has to offer. I
I need to
occasionally
get back
am
in here.
reminded
I don't
of the
need
game
to,
that set up
but I
Guild Wars
should've.
2 for its success. Guild Wars Prophecies was an action RPG that ate up most of my adolescent youth. And
I didn't go to school.
admittedly, I
didn't
wasn't
sleep.
even really
I
aware
stayed up
that the
for
game
days.
existed. I was just too
got
focused on getting World of
thousands of
Warcraft,
hours
wondering
in.
why I couldn't play the game.
My dad
wasn't
thought
the
that I was
most
doing
excited
drugs, but I would just
person
like
to have
basically
me
not
playing
sleep and play video games
He
all the time.
didn't necessarily
And
enjoy
I think
it.
that's
Him
fine.
being the
That's whatever.
outdoorsy type,
So-
he believed it was a passing phase. Joke's on him, huh? My mom, however, purchased Guild Wars for me.
I didn't
My dad
know what
didn't
weed
say
was then.
anything about Guild Wars.
My mom
He only
didn't.
said
She didn't want
something
me
about
playing
World of
games
Warcraft.
online.
Well, a hop,
Wise,
skip, and a
good
jump
choice.
away, I have created my account.
A
and
friend
I created my
from a
war
game that I
except
shouldn't
I
have got
wanted the fiery dragon
gave me
swords.
access to
Zilborn
Guild
was
Wars.
Rook, searing
My mom
blade,
didn't know the other
epitome
game
of
had
strength and
multiplayer.
honor, defending the weak, challenging the dastardly.
She
Now,
didn't
to be
know
sure,
that I
poured
was
an
on it
untold amount of
playing
hours
multiplayer.
into this game,
And then people
without a
from
doubt,
that
it was
game
some of
gave
the
me a
best
CD key
gaming
to a
memories that
different
I
game.
have with any
Because they wanted to
PC
play with me.
or even
And I was
console
down.
game.
Hell yeah.
Ironically, however, I don't
And
have
so, like,
exact
yeah.
memories of what I did during those countless hours. I remember the landscapes, the skills, the multi-class.
Oh, I remember.
But I
well,
never
I was.
beat the
I did
game.
do
I
liquor
have
then.
no memory
I
of
did do
progressing
that.
through the
That I did
prophecy
do.
story, and even less of the faction story. I
Active,
have
active,
no
active.
idea what had happened
Boobs.
in this time. But that isn't why Guild Wars was the best game that I never played. It was the best game because that even now, I have literally the fondest memories playing just in the starting zones. I remember speaking to other players who were logging in for the first time. Players who partied with me to go out on an adventure in some of the post-Searing Ascalon areas. For a while, I ran with the same group of like 3 players, and I remember that we would just group up.
Even when I was like playing PvP, I'd bring my PvE friends to come PvP with me, and I'd just like show them how they could do stuff, and like,
when we got home from school.
You know, I bring my PvE crew to come play like top like 10
its combat
fucking PvP, and I just chill and be really fucking chill. It's so great.
Blade was now in Cantha.
Because people would talk shit about like separating PvP and PvE people, just like they'd always be on some shit. So I just shoehorn my friends together and be like, hi, I don't care.
Absolutely some of the best PvP in any game. I do, however, remember taking my warrior and almost in a town crier fashion, shouting uplifting and motivating sayings, at least what I thought were uplifting and motivating, and just saying them out loud for all nearby players to hear. Hours I spent here, just putting whatever positive thought that came into my mind, and almost as a nerd's sermon. I would get small gatherings of crowds of players who would just sit near me and they would clap and say positive things back. This was my first true experience of what makes the MMORPG genre one of the best in any gaming genre.
It is one of the best.
There was no quests. There was
we just sat around and talked. One of my friends and I, we'd take screenshots in game
through the game
and then
like
higher
power levels or
talk with like
certain features.
The game staff about screenshots we'd taken. It was very chill.
Fresh. That was possibly
okay, not very chill. It was pretty fucking weird at
times. And I think that's why I spent so much time in this community.
My mom was right to try to keep me off of the fucking internet.
Flash forward to today. I decided that I would log into
she wasn't wrong
in Guild Wars and start over, picking up my warrior sword and shield again, ready to defend the helpless and cast down the wicked. And this game is even better than I remembered, and it doesn't disappoint. I think perhaps the best part about Guild Wars is that it hasn't massively changed due to either overbearing updates or modern facelifts, which I don't believe ArenaNet could do anyway, nor do I think they would. Despite the game being nearly 20 years old, there are still
that game
here.
is ancient.
I mean, look at this.
I grew up
This is a starting area. This is amazing. Going through these areas pre-Searing Ascalon, it just smashes that nostalgia button, and it really just doesn't stop. What's interesting
I stood in those lines of monks many a times.
It was like
I knew those lovely folks. We just stand in a row sometimes and talk shit.
Are synergistic and
they were very nice. I had a lovely time.
Feels as good as the day that I stopped. So I wander
I
on
mostly
over to
played
the Abbey and
Asia
picked up my
Pacific
monk
hours,
dual class
so,
because what I didn't know
like,
even back
while
then
I was
was that I was
chilling,
just a basic
staying
paladin
up late.
B.
I'm sorry, but the test was positive.
You know, the home skillets would have different times to like they would be awake or enough
Something about
that we
having
could like not
defensive
die.
skills and the offensive power of a warrior, and and I'm able to get to the small instance zones such as Vogel's Fair, Wizard's Folly, and more. And I even sneak into the northern wall by pressing this lever and rushing to the instance before the door closes. You're supposed to have another player assist you by you pressing the lever, and then they run into the instance, which drags you along with it. But the game didn't realize how super fast I was anyway. After creating the instance and getting north of the wall, I had no memory of this place. I don't even believe I ever went north of the wall.
Well,
and actually, after getting trounced by a band of
I mean, I
chargers,
found a
realized
person.
that I am not
I pulled them
that
off
guy,
a
and there's a
line,
reason
and I
that
ran
never went
around.
north of the wall.
Not mad.
So I take my ragged warrior out into the wild some more, quest a little, and hit level 5. And I think that's about my time to head to what every Guild Wars fan knows, and maybe even some Guild Wars 2 fans who've never played the game understand. The Searing. The Char launched their nuke high into the sky and decimated people
I'll
of
contain
Ascalon.
my joy.
Literally, I am flooded immediately with memories, and of course the shock of this happening.
Okay, yeah.
I remember seeing this for the first time, and I had to get up out of my computer to go and tell my dad that the evil cats are destroying the city. Beleaguered from his long day as a mechanic, he still came over to watch the rest of the cinematic and agreed.
I can give you the link when I'm done with my run.
The main town of Ascalon is in shambles, and evil creatures roam around every corner, and it's time to continue the journey of my warrior.
I need to go back
the party
to that
composition aspect really does come into play, and of course, you were able to choose which henchmen you want to bring along with you, or if you wanted to bring a person. Of course, I grab a monk healer, an elementalist, and a warrior, to round out our party. Despite them only being level 3 and me nearly being twice their level, we still didn't really have too much difficulty taking on the mobs out and around this area.
Oops,
this really does
misclicked.
emphasize in my mind the idea of solo play, of being able to just go out and have fun, even on your own. One thing that I did, of course, have to remember quickly was the limited inventory space. That's something carried.
I learned to run people through the game, and I've been ran on my like second or third
that
play.
I needed identification kits and salvage kits, and how useful they were really creating armor, which creating the baseline armor there in Ascalon nearly doubles the amount of armor that you have on your character. It's actually very, very crazy. Of course, with my customized sword, we were out and about, first questing around the original area of the Ascalon foothills, and it really kind of brought a propensity back into this game, and it brought it back to life. The same green fields that you were journeying through not like 5 minutes ago are now completely charred and it's a wasteland. And then this is where the true wonderful nature of this game and what MMOs are came back to me. And that is old-fashioned questing. Now, of all the wonderful things that Guild Wars 2 does, it does not do questing, which instead they subbed out for the renowned hearts. Now, to be sure, there are plenty of great aspects of the game, and some of the most enjoyable parts are, of course, the open world gameplay in Guild Wars 2, but man, having a good old-fashioned quest of bring an item to a town, or hunt down a bad guy, or kill so many of these guys, I truly miss questing, actually. I'll be honest. In my open world questing travels, I came across one of the glowing mobs, which are essentially the elite challenges, or the more difficult versions of them, and most of the time, these have some type of very powerful skill that you have to counter and you have to watch. And what's even cooler is that when you have defeated these guys, and I forgot about this, is that your party gets like an uplifting boon where it increases your health and your total mana. It's almost like you're progressing forward and you are given an extra benefit, an extra bonus in that sense. And that was just such a nice touch. It makes you feel as you are a successful party, and you know, you're able to conquer more because you have more health and you're on a roll almost in that sense. After about another hour of roaming around, I decided it's high time for me to get onto the main mission. Now, the missions are objective-based instances, really meant to give you just a moderate challenge, provide some interesting storytelling elements, and progress essentially you through these areas. This is something that was of course continued into Guild Wars 2, but this tended to be less intensive, especially in the core game. After killing every single devourer in a 2-mile radius, it was time for me to actually push to complete the mission. Oddly enough, as I'm playing through this particular mission, I actually remember this instance, and I remember this part where you have to sprint back home, running from all the char that are chasing you. I somehow inadvertently sacrificed like my entire party, but hey, only one of us has to outrun the bear. And now everyone is safer because we warned the correct person. I also had a decent axe that I picked up a while ago, and I was able to upgrade that and customize that, as well as upgrading some of my armor. The feeling of progress just came rushing back to me at this point. And that's kind of where I draw some type of contrary to Guild Wars 2 and their horizontal progression. While yes, it is nice in a lot of sense, it still does feel very good to get that upgrade and to push hard and unlock it, especially on your own. It's like a sense of achievement, I guess. And then just immediately, all I want to do is just keep playing. I just want to play more. I want to progress my story. So I gain some power, I gain some new gear. But I'm challenged. I'm given for me, that, at least right now, we'll say, difficulty setup that I have to work for my particular pieces of gear. And that actually was just very nice. I also wanted to see more of the story leading up to Guild Wars 2. Now, I've been able to piece together some things, talking specifically about the story or major character pieces, but I never to this degree understood what really led up to Guild Wars 2. Now, Guild Wars, for all its wonderful and simplistic aspects, has enthralled me to log in and try a mission or grind a level or do some quests. Something that I haven't really been able to replicate, even after some repeated attempts with other games. But here we are in 2023, playing nearly a 20-year-old game, and I can't put it down. It's odd. Now, of course, it's a strange thing to say that Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 hardly feel like they're a part of the same game series. Actually, I believe this is why much of Guild Wars has stayed as long as it has. The true nature of the game of Guild Wars is an action RPG. whereas Guild Wars 2 is more of an MMO. And of course, they do share some similar elements back and forth, but even now in 2023, Guild Wars does something that's special that I haven't felt or haven't found in a very long time, and the game has made me focus on questing and simply surviving in this brutal world, instead of blindly devastating everything in my wake as I speed run to max level and get into instance grinding. I had to strategically target down enemy healers. I cast protection spells on my allies to keep them alive and mitigate
I played
damage.
a prot monk most of Guild Wars, so when Guild Wars 2 came out, my whole class that I'd played for my whole gaming time outside of the other game I'd played,
it didn't feel like I was
hard.
just simply button mashing.
This is one of the two. This is the second game that I would spend sleepless nights trying to get good at.
I have to time my abilities. I have to time it off of their attacks.
I wanted to
have to make sure that I'm healing. I have to watch my party's health.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many aspects with it. I understand now why some Guild Wars 1 players have said that Guild Wars 2 is a completely different game, and they don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I get it now.
I almost went to League of Legends. It was just available.
That I had as a kid.
Just finally becoming available to play as a fucking game. And that was the only MOBA I played because I tried to find a replacement for Guild Wars. We couldn't at all.
Until it's gone.
No one really has found a thing that feels the same or similar. And it's not to be too much of a nostalgia hell, but like
Guild Wars was without a doubt a landmark find in the genre and is still incredible to this day. Being a creator of Guild Wars 2, I of course love the MMO and recommend it to anyone. But revisiting my experience here in Guild Wars has completely changed my outlook on how I game and why I game. To any passerby who may consider this game and are looking for an interesting RPG, I stress that it is 110%.
Oh, I'm so lucky they built me.
It can be a bit slow.
Oh, I'm so lucky.
Especially in the early parts.
So lucky. My team is so great.
All the bells and whistles of new
team
MMOs,
number 1.
Don't forget the roots of why this genre is so great. If you want to learn a little
we didn't want to give them
more,
points.
Specifically talking about Guild Wars 2, check out the 2023 Beginner's Guide. This will get you used to everything that you need in the game so that you can be introduced into this wonderful genre. As always, stay caffeinated, folks.
It really is that damn phone. You know it, everybody knows it. Many people don't want to admit it, but everybody knows it. But a lot of people don't truly understand
I need to check yellow soon.
Of the problems that it has created or enhanced.
I'm gonna check yellow.
A lot of people don't. But I want to bring you some self-awareness.
I can try to do it from here.
Disagree, you may agree, but I guarantee you'll look at this a lot differently. Or it'll support what you already feel by the end of this video. But I really want you to let this sink into your brain. Really sit with these thoughts. Really sit with the fact that we've become obsessed with something that is ruining us, something that is destroying us. It wasn't created for this, but it is now. As if there wasn't already enough.
I was making sure we weren't in an ad.
Enough vices in this world.
I had to make sure.
Put one on the top, and it happens to be one of the most profound of them
I'm a
all.
goober. It's okay to call me a goober.
We have something that was once the greatest escape, one of the greatest.
It was the music that made me check.
Right? We have something that is one of the greatest escapes in our world, and it has turned into one of the greatest ways to destroy ourselves. That's just the duality of life, right?
1 second.
But it gets a little bit deeper than that. Social media, phones, all these things, it has cooked our brains to the point where a lot of people cannot even enjoy life.
We're inside their base,
overstimulated.
doing base
The real world does not compare to this fiction. You get to see all these things. You get to get all this easy access to all these things.
Green will get me in there fastest. Green. Let's go.
And you've been scrolling for way too long. You're wasting time doing a bunch of nothing. You're scrolling for way too long. If you think about it, when you start scrolling, it's endless. It's endless. It's just one big thread. And a lot of people, you know, they like to defend it and say, oh, well, I watch all my favorite content and I learn and I do this and I do that. And I agree. Some people are responsible, some aren't. But regardless, it's about a 10% of what you're consuming that is actually good for you. It's about a good 10%. Maybe it's more. I hope it's more for you, right? But if you're already in a defense,
I think we critically consume things, which is fun for me at least.
It is, but like I said, it's about
I like questioning shit all day.
All of that content that you
consume. Not all day.
It's actually good for you.
I like mulling over stuff. It's my
frying
job.
your brain. It's frying your brain. And the thing is, we sit there and tell ourselves, I'm watching this, I'm connected to the source, and I don't want to miss out on this truth, and I don't want to miss out on this
We like looking up
information.
the
You tell
original
yourself
sources.
those things to make yourself feel better, because the truth is, you are afraid of missing out. You can't get off social media because you don't want to miss out. You want to miss out on the trends. You don't want to miss out on the gossip. You don't want to miss out on watching all this sad stuff and things making you feel more relatable to other people and other things. You don't want to miss out on that. The fear
At least we
of
get to
missing
travel
out,
to
that's
them.
really what's the driving force behind all of this. And those aren't even the biggest problems.
Let's swap
The
this
biggest
for
problems
restorative.
is that all of this junk is playing on your insecurities. People are profiting off your insecurities. The people that run all of this stuff, they are profiting
off
off
your
your
dad.
insecurities. Why do you think you see so
Profit
much
off your
sad stuff?
mom.
Why do you think it's a trend to be depressed now? Why do you think all this negativity is being thrown around? Why do you think there's always some new news thread
Plural
that's making
feet.
people scared?
We got
and
plural
making
feet
people
and
live
it's
in
all
fear
my
and making
fault.
people fight against each other and divide and conquer people. You got men hating
Okay.
on women, women hating
Hold
on
on.
men.
We're gonna stop the
Division,
latency for a little
conqueror.
bit.
Why do you think all these things are going on? Because people profit off of your suffering. People profit off
Hold on.
your insecurities. People have literally made careers
It
for
was also
themselves.
that didn't
Playing
help.
on people's insecurities. Oh, you're some loser stuck in your house and you can't do this and you can't do that. Buy my $1 million
me a
course and
sec.
do this, do that, do this, do that. Right?
Owie,
People
leg
are
switch.
playing on your insecurities, and it is some people out there that mean well, and maybe they do have a high price because they think they're valuable. I'm not saying every apple in the bunch is bad. That's just the way it goes. But the thing is, we have gotten so used to consuming things that are bad for us, we don't ever question those people. You go to McDonald's and get something that's terrible for you, you don't question them. Oh, what did you put in it? Are you trying to kill me? Well, you got somebody out here by themselves. They got
Okay,
a
we do
business.
question
They're trying
this.
to make some money
This is
for
for people
themselves.
we
Oh,
might
you want
love.
to scrutinize them. Oh, your price is too high. You do this, you do that. Why are you not out here scrutinizing the people that's actually, they don't give a damn about you? They playing on your insecurities. They trying to scam you. They trying to kill you. They feeding
I
you
don't
all
know.
this content, feeding you all this
Sekiro
trash, getting you in that
is
same
iffy to switch
loop you
between
in
devices
now.
on.
And you wonder why
Dark
your life
Souls
changed
2,
because
but a
you
little
keep doing
less
the
so.
same things. You keep watching the same things, and it keeps you in
let's
the
see.
same loop.
Fear
And
the
if you still not
Spotlight's
hearing me, I
demo
want
was
you to hear
sick.
this. Right? I want you to hear this. And that's a
I'm gonna play the
pun,
full
and you
of
don't
it.
even know it yet.
But that might be like an offline
But
thing.
social
I need to
media, the
check.
phones, all this stuff, it has
should run on a Steam
enhanced
Deck,
a
okay,
problem that we
so-
had for a long time.
I wanna see.
And it
I wanna
used to
see.
not be so much of a problem, but the screen has become the enemy. The screen has stepped in the middle of things, and this is why it gets a little tricky. But if you haven't noticed, everybody wants to be seen, and everybody wants to be heard. It's human nature. It's how we are. It's what we are. Some people gonna say, oh, well, I don't want to be seen. I want to be left alone. Or I don't want to be heard. I don't want anybody to hear me. I hate my voice. Why did you just speak? Why did you just voice your opinion? Because you want to be understood? Or you felt that it was needed for you to explain yourself or explain the way you felt? Of course you do. You're human. You want to be seen. You want to be heard. Why do you think we have virtual prostitutes? Because people want to be seen. People want to be heard. Why do you think we have all these activists speaking on this and speaking on that? Because people
I don't
want
think
to be
everyone
seen.
wants those
People want to be
things.
heard. Why do you
People
think it's a bunch of people with
sometimes
mommy and daddy
switch to be
issues all
acknowledged.
over the internet scrutinizing
Which-
everybody else, or just being hurt, expressing their trauma? Because everybody
Might
wants to
mean
be seen.
sequestering that
Everybody
shit.
wants to be heard. It is our human nature. And we have built up a platform that has gave so many people voices, but it's also messed everything up. It's distorted reality because you got 1 million and trillion people on these social media platforms, but it's only 1 million up here that's getting thousands and millions of views. And everybody else seeing it, they like, man, how can I put in all this work and get 3
Sekiro.
views, but they put in a little amount of work and they get millions of views. That's what it has created. That's the mindset
Uncertainty.
it's created, which is also a toxic mindset. Because if 3 people walk up to the average person, you're gonna get freaked out because 3 people is a lot of people. That's a lot of energy. But 3 compared to 1 million, that's minuscule. That comparison factor, we always gotta be compared to somebody because that's what we see, that's what we consume. And then you hating on somebody who's more successful than you in a certain moment. You
The
compare
lighting's
the
pretty
beginning
in
of
their
your
room,
journey to
by the
somebody
way.
who's on
It's
level
really pretty
55.
lighting.
But that's what you see. And you want to feel heard. You want to be understood. You want to be a star in your own right. You may not want to be a musician. You may not want to be an activist. You may not want to be a YouTuber or a teacher, whatever it is, but you still want to be seen by somebody else, or you felt some type of way because somebody else was doing a little something on social media that you wasn't, or somebody else has something that you wanted.
I'm giving you the link because I might skip it.
Understood in the way that you wanted to be understood. Something has happened.
I still think it a bit generalized.
In the last few days, in the last 24 hours in your life that made you want to be seen.
They're doing their thing. They got a pretty background.
Think about what I'm saying.
That's all I gotta say.
But
pretty
this is what social media is
How you doing,
enhancing to the point where people
check this.
Don't see consequence. People will say anything, but it all comes from wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard. Oh, you think you're
That's
this.
my
Oh,
pride and joy.
That. People just comment that on your videos, on your pictures. You like, bro.
We're waiting for Danny to get online.
You don't know
and
me.
accept ownership
Instead
of this
of assuming something about me
as the actual
based
artist
off of
behind it.
You being hurt in some certain situation. Why not just ask me a question? Why not making, a little Q&A? Instead of you putting these assumptions on people, instead of you projecting how you feel in here, instead of you putting that on people, why not just ask a question? Why not just be a little curious? My brother, Jalen Jenkins, somebody commented on one of his videos and said, oh, you're a one-hit wonder. Just outside connecting with nature, connecting with life, living real life. And that's something that people don't do anymore. You don't go outside in the morning to hear
at least
that
as
morning
people
bird.
being
That
kind
morning
to
bird's
each
still
other.
there.
You know
You
how
don't
much
go
I want
outside,
that?
You don't wake up
a lot.
early enough.
I'll take the kind
you
people.
Really out there like that. All right?
Their background hacks the people's brains.
Has been lost because of these phones, because of this right here. Something we think is our buddy, something we think is our friend, and it is.
If I were to cut into just this point, I could say the most silly
than
thing.
Any job has, but money isn't everything.
But honestly, my dears, like, you know how I'm a true crime nerd? Mr. Kaczynski also wanted us to let down technology's ability to drive us away from simple things that would satisfy our need for community and companionship. He got desperate though, and then he started hurting people when he was desperate, and that is inappropriate. He also worked in a lot of other bullshit too, but
consequences.
I'm sorry.
You're not taking the time out of your day to learn certain skills and be productive. When these screens go away,
people do some shit sometimes when they're
life's
desperate.
Still gonna go on. Life's still gonna go on. Things you say to people online, say that to somebody facing real life. You get your damn wig split.
I say the same goddamn shit.
You would never say that in person.
So I don't understand.
I don't have that screen to hide behind.
I talk the same interesting shit to you, to people that I meet randomly in the streets.
In the real world, slap them and they look stupid.
A person who's kind enough to be my clerk.
Is it pink in her face? What? Come on, bro.
I slide by
is it
so
pink?
Easy. Well, I mean, the worst thing I think I might go with is calling the world a bunch of egregious fuck shits. And I would also say this to a person. I've told people that I think that much before. I've been they're being a bunch of egregious fuck shits.
Here, a male ostrich and his mate will raise the offspring of up to 5 of his other females.
Where is it? Bruh. Where are you? I just moved you.
They put all their eggs in one basket,
Robo-ostrich.
creating one huge nest.
No, I'm saving the rest of the fucking wildlife spies.
Joining them
for later.
Ostrich chick.
Here. I'll give us a few more. I'm just saving some of them. Oops, that's
For the male,
that's two.
it's just another member of his ever-expanding brood.
Okay, hold on. You know you want this.
His spy ostrich chick.
Birds.
For the male, it's just another member of his ever-expanding brood.
Birds. Birds. Birds.
Spy chick is in the perfect spot.
Baby bird.
As new life hatches all around.
Beautiful baby bird. No, there's not.
This spy creature receives the same devotion and protection as the real chicks.
Usually. We do this with young humans too, when they're rearing, or practicing how they may not execute those who they are
with a large brood to
be responsible for.
Ostriches are always alert for danger. A leopard.
Those use Zigbee, be very critical of them. Or some use, be careful of the Zigbee ones. Be critical.
All the young can do is stick close to their father. But the female is a master of deception.
One sec.
When there's nowhere to hide, making yourself conspicuous is the next best option.
Why use a spy? Lol. Okay, you know what? Honestly,
she launches a carefully planned and ostentatious
not mad.
display.
This is both funny and terrifying.
Where the babies are hiding. She pretends she's injured.
Spy tiger? I think we have one.
So tantalizing for a predator.
I don't remember.
The
No
leopard
subviews.
can't resist following.
Hold on. There. They don't like the music.
But he eventually realizes he's been had.
Spy giant river otter.
No easy meal today.
New leopard.
With the leopard lured away, the parents can relax.
Bird. It's Mickey. Okay. Shh. A well-fitting, shifty flute in the background. We need more spy rock. Spy in the Wild was the best series ever. You're right. Well,
But it's
actually, the best series ever.
Isn't a good choice.
I still say Lost Tapes. It's absolute trash telly, but it's funny for me. It's so garbage I die laughing. I think it's outstanding.
He's learning the hard way that wood is far too bouncy to work as an anvil.
Far too bouncy. Bouncy. Bounce, bounce. Bounce, bounce.
There is only so much frustration any monkey can
Be
take.
frustrated and have all the tools.
Time to think this through.
The Rock Spy is kind of killing it. That's a 10 out of 10. You want the link for this? I feel like I should have given this to you 10 years ago. It's cool. We can tell me I
He's
suck.
learned from his mistakes and picks an anvil used by the more
Demoralized and philosophical he gets at 58 seconds.
Will it do the trick?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Don't judge me. I need to get up actually and grab some stuff. What's on next? You know, it's not the only time that non-human apes have, like, pulled out tools, though. Like, oftentimes, we apes make tools and then die in isolation.
He's done it. It's a significant moment.
We've pulled up the rope ladder
But
behind
you only
us.
survive here by being smart and learning.
3
from
a.m.
trial and error.
You take some food from the freezer. 123.
It takes all his strength to lift it. This time, he's
Yeah.
learned from his mistakes
Yeah, true.
and picks an anvil used by the more experienced monkeys. But will it do the trick?
Sorry, I need to use this for a reason. There's a reason I need this timestamp, and it's honestly the most silly, fucked up reason ever, and I'm sorry. I need to, like, be a shitty streamer for a second and be distracted with, like, my Discord. I'm sorry. Did we already watch you? Later.
When a mysterious young nurse came to frequent...
That's an hour. That's an hour. Wait. Stop your hour shit. Stop it. Stop it. Stop your hour shit. Stop it. You hit me with that hour stuff, I'll fight you.
And we'll dance our socks off.
I will get into fights. Not literal ones, figurative ones. Where the fuck is Discord? I want to send Resi the most silly fucking link in the world.
Probably like the last
Please.
6 months or so, I have
It's the
been
timestamped monkey. You want it too?
internet videos like the plague
Hold on.
because my tolerance for
It's this
cringe
one.
has gone down quite a bit, and it's
It's
finally
this one.
caught up
It's
to me. We
timestamped.
used to look at
But it takes all
cringy
his
stuff on this
strength to
channel
lift
all the time. It used to be one of the main kinds of videos I made. I'm sure many of you remember cringe used to be the hot topic. I mean, seriously, who hasn't watched a cringe compilation before? But over the last few years or so, that kind of content has sort of gone away, and I honestly think it's just because the internet has kind of gotten less cringy. I feel like there's been an adoption of this sort of general internet etiquette. People are very aware of what they post and how it makes them look. And you know what? I think it's made the internet a duller place. People need
I had
goofy
to
social
joke.
media posts and videos to
And
look
be
back
like, I
on
found
and think,
you.
my God, what was
the
I
homie.
thinking? At least, that's what I thought before I saw the videos we're going to be watching today. After watching them, I'm kind of okay with the internet being a dull place again. It doesn't seem too bad. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's good to
since
keep
a
it dull.
video has gotten a
I need to be
physical
RB.
reaction out of me
I'm
when
so
it comes
sorry.
to actually cringing. You know, not just the feeling
I
of I
trust
don't want
you.
to watch this, but my body actually trying
Be
to
safe.
reject it by moving
Don't play with fire
myself
while I'm gone.
away from the source of the video.
The lighter's
But,
for me,
today,
not for you.
Today does it. Allow me to introduce you to a TikToker named Garrett Nolan. He's this guy who does these like relationship skits, I guess you would call them, in which he puts on this act where he's very obviously trying to appeal to what he thinks a woman wants from a man. But as a fellow member of the human race and as a person who is able to read comment sections, it doesn't really land that way, and he just comes off as the biggest pick-me the world has ever seen. The videos are really hard to watch, at least they are for me, so you guys have got to suffer as well. We're gonna start with the video that introduced me to this guy, and I'm warning you guys, it's pretty rough. One more thing real quick before we begin. If the audio in some of these videos sounds kind of weird, it's because I'm trying to isolate just what they're saying and cut out the music, because this guy uses a lot of copyrighted music that YouTube is detecting quite quickly, so sorry if it sounds a little bit weird at times. Let's begin. Please subscribe.
Hey, some guy texted you. He wants to know if you'll follow him back.
I'll block him if you want.
You don't need to block him, love. I trust you.
He's a new guy at work.
I know. But what I do need you to is that I'm infatuated. Obsessed.
Okay, 15 seconds in, and I'm already seriously considering deleting the project file. Good start. One thing that helps me navigate these videos is ignoring the cringe and focusing on how stupid these conversations are. It's like this guy thinks the average relationship is nothing but just fawning over your partner 24/7. There won't be a single normal conversation during this entire video. The situation will be completely normal, or the girl will say something completely normal like, "What do you want for dinner?" And the guy's like, "I don't know, but I do know I want to tongue your asshole." It's like, come on, dude. Not everything has to be like that.
Well, baby, that's captivated by you. Oh, every ounce of your soul to blend with mine. Because I'm beyond selfish when it comes to your love. I want to use every breath I have left on this earth, getting as close as I can to having you all to myself.
Buddy, are you planning on killing this woman? Because that's what you're making your plans sound like. First of all, nobody talks like this, and nobody should, and it only makes a situation that makes no sense to begin with somehow make less sense. So he says he's going to use every breath he has to get as close as possible to having her all to himself. So are they not together? Are they not in a relationship? This girl just asked you if you want her to block some random guy. That seems like a weird thing to say if you aren't in a relationship. Also,
also seems like a weird thing to say if you haven't behaved in the past to make her think that she should, but whatever. But saying you'd have to do all this to have her all to yourself makes it seem like you guys are not in a relationship, which makes this video a million times worse. If you said this shit to a woman that you are not very familiar with and you're not in a relationship with, she's probably gonna think she's about to die. These things are really not that much better to say to somebody you are in a relationship with, but if this is like your first date or something and you're like, I'm going to kill every single person on the planet until you're all mine, you are probably not gonna get a second date.
Place? No. Okay, cool.
I'm a tad bit jealous of that. I feel like there's only one way to get over it.
I forgot something.
And which way is that?
Giving you all of me. The remaining is mine.
Then give it.
Put your hand up. Relax.
Garrett, what the fuck are you doing? Not only is absolutely nothing that you're saying making sense. I'm a little bit jealous over a guy you work with, so the only solution is to eat your pussy. Like what? Whatever, cope how you want, I guess. But let's address the elephant in the room here, Garrett. You are a grown man filming yourself alone in your house, pretending to seduce and fuck a couch. Do you not feel like the world's biggest goofball? Because you should. This is unbelievably embarrassing for you, man.
Your fuel pump is bad.
I wouldn't think you know so much about cars.
Your fuel pump needs to spritz fuel.
Did you just come into your headlight or something there, brother? What are you doing? No, like actually, what is he supposed to be doing here? Is this more horrible pick-me shit? Is he having a mental orgasm because a woman knows what a fuel pump is? Yeah, I don't think that paints you in the light you'd like it to, Garrett. Also, this car would not have a carburetor, so it looks like nobody involved in this skit knows about cars.
Into the throat of the carburetor, and it's not doing that.
Hey, do you want to go on a date with me sometime?
I want to say yes.
One date. That's all I ask.
I just don't know if you're my type.
Well, if you don't know, then let's find out. Just say yes.
Wait,
just say
what's
it.
a type?
So what's the situation here? I really need more context, Garrett, so I can know how much I can make fun of you. Does he know this woman? Did he just meet her? Did she pull over to help him on the side of the road or something? My head canon is going to be that this woman pulled over to help him with his car.
Why?
Because that makes what he said even funnier. Can you imagine this woman pulls over to help this guy, starts saying what she thinks the problem might be, and he's like, oh, I didn't think you'd know about cars. I thought you were one of them dumb women. Now, YouTube moderation bots, don't get mad at me for saying that, okay? I think all women are awesome, and I stand by that. But the way this guy is framing this is like, oh, you know the basic functions of a car? I would have never imagined. Half of these pick-me-acts go so over the top that they end up turning in on themselves and insulting the group they're supposed to be pandering to.
It is hard for me to believe in
Listen,
these days.
listen. I'll put every ounce of my being into making sure that you feel safe, comforted, and happy if we go on a date.
What
The entire day is going to feel like a ray of sunshine hugging your skin. The date will start off with some delicious food. And then we'll go downtown after, and we'll dance our socks off.
And sometimes I am like the 4th of July displaces a lot of atmospheric gases, which really don't help when you're looking at anthropogenic climate change causing a lot of harm to a lot of people. And then people are like that ecstatic about celebrating the 4th.
Look, I'm really not trying to be mean here, but I've got to speak my truth. When I first saw this video and I got to this point, I involuntarily gagged. Not only is this the cringiest shit that mankind has ever seen, it's also
cringy to gag,
ironic.
literally.
This guy's
literally
entire
gag,
shtick is being
but we'll
a good
take it.
guy, nice guy, I'm gonna take care of you so well. And this entire video is a woman being uncomfortable going on a date with him, and he's like, okay, let me pressure you into saying yes.
And, everything's
Would you
going
like some
perfect from this
coercion with
point,
your french
which
fries?
it will.
No,
I'll
I'm good,
find the
thank
most
you.
soft blanket
Could I have a
can for
water,
you.
please?
And we'll sit on it underneath the stillness of the night sky. We'll turn our heads together and watch the stars.
What? Why are
We can
you?
sit there in silence if we have to. I want to be in the same space as you and enjoy the perfection that you are.
Again, going back to what I said earlier, this is especially
From,
true
like-
if these two just met, but
Bro, if somebody says this within like the time it takes to like take out your tools and figure out that you can't get your shit together, I'm gonna get into fights. IRL.
really under any circumstances, if a person
That time
says
for
this
my
to
own
me,
protection.
I'm thinking, okay, yeah, I am this serial killer's next victim. All of this is going to get so extremely ironic here in a minute.
Like, I've been love bombed a lot before. This is so hyperbolic and fast. It's even like haha funny for me.
Just remember what this guy
What?
is saying, talking about this woman's perfection, how amazing she is. Just keep
I
it
say
in
a
mind.
lot, like
Okay, I'll go.
this many times.
You'll go?
Good old
Yes,
3 or so.
let's go on a date.
Okay. Tomorrow? Noon?
It's too many.
1:30?
Damn it.
Perfect. I hope you're ready to dance.
I hope you're ready to dance.
That's what it is. They try to get you all like
Garrett, buddy. Where are you
comfortable in the
going?
chaos.
Isn't your car broken down? Have you completely forgotten the plot of this video? How are you getting home? Do you have this person's number? Where are you meeting? Are you gonna pick them up? You can't just say noon and then walk home.
The dance is how you do it.
Going
The
on
dance is how
dates
you win.
is not
That's
love.
how you get the. That's
Talking
how you
to
get the
someone
other hermit crabs
24/7
as you
is
dance.
not love.
You only get the other
Staying up
jumping spiders
all night for someone
when
is
you
not
wiggle
love.
the right way.
Love is someone who sees the harsh side of you and still chooses to love you. Someone who makes things happen for you when you can. Someone who holds you and calms you down as tears pour out of your eyes.
Yeah, it's real rich getting a lecture on love coming from the guy who deems that a woman is perfect based off of nothing but looks. Right, Garrett? Because if you don't know a woman well enough to know that she's into cars or knows how to work on cars, then you probably aren't very familiar with her, yet you're able to say that you just want to bask in her perfection. Seems like you're a little bit of a hypocrite there, buddy. I feel like you would really need to love somebody to know they're perfect, right?
Or, you know, for me, if someone says, like, even if they know me and they give me a compliment, I immediately go to this motherfucker is lying and they are full of bullshit now.
It's someone.
Yeesh. Hold on. Did I? Hold on.
Voicing all the good things.
How are you that loud? Hold on. What?
When all you see is the bad.
No, it's just not even.
Someone who makes
There
sure
we go.
you're okay.
See, got it.
Who thinks about you every night.
Here, I can do
every
better.
single day.
Are you proud now?
It's someone who's constantly
Can I-
pouring themselves
Can I have accolades yet?
into you.
Can I be told I'm useful yet?
That's
Please?
what love is.
I
Garrett,
wanna
you
be
seem to have a
useful.
very flawed understanding
I think
of what you're preaching.
Garrett
Basically,
would tell
everything
me
you're
I'm
describing
useful
and everything you're talking
without
about
me
in these
having to
videos
beg.
is not really love. It's infatuation. Love is not constantly needing this or constantly needing that or needing your partner to always give you something in order to prove something. It's much more relaxed than that. You seem to have a very flawed understanding of what deep human relationships tend to look like in real life. You're not living in a movie.
Wait, should I do this? Oh, okay. You only live once. You're right.
YOLO!
Hi, what's going
Can't
on?
marry him.
What are you
You
doing?
cannot marry him.
What?
My lungs, they gasp for you.
What are
Your
you-
presence is like oxygen and I need it desperately. Like how the breeze surrounds me. My skin
gonna
begs
fix
for you.
audio
It
shit.
burns.
At this point, I have gotten
Fuck
over
it.
the
I'm
cringiness of
fixing
this.
audio
Now I'm just
shit.
getting pissed off.
Hold
It's
on.
genuinely just making me
Something
angry to
to
watch
do.
these videos.
I
Is
can
that
do that.
normal? Probably not. But
Hold
it's
on.
like, damn, dude,
That's an
just
easy
shut
thing
up
to do.
talking about love in one video and how important it is, and then the next one you're going to break up a marriage. Your presence
Okay.
is like oxygen. My skin begs for you. It burns. You're just kind of creepy,
It ain't
man.
great,
Nothing
but
says
it's what we're doing.
self-conceited like thinking somebody can't marry someone else because you're in love
Wait,
with
what's
them.
this do?
For the bliss of your embrace. I become lightheaded by
That
you.
was me learning
dizzy
that I
from
don't
the
know how
very
to
thought
use,
that we're surrounded by the same winds that keep us apart. I need you like I need the air. I want you. I love you.
My God,
That was me finding out that I can't, hold on, that I can't do like certain hold on, it's this. It's really, really bad. See, it fails.
I think this
It's
is
me
worse than the
realizing
one when he
that's
tried to fuck the couch. I mean, seriously, at some point, it's time for some self-reflection.
What?
There's gotta come a time where
That was so a fucking forum post though. So like I'm not even surprised. Because people did that because it was a forum post. That's why it's in a book. That's why this person would probably do it. It was a forum post. They just never got over their degen era. JK. I never got over mine. I'm projecting. I still sometimes sit around and scummily eat my fucking pickled peas on camera on stream. These people are at least like doing cool stuff, I guess, right? They're outside. One up on me, bitches. Let's go. I'm
you
inside
look at
right
yourself
now.
in the mirror and you wonder why, as a grown man, do I spend every single one of my days acting out fantastical situations where I have to beg non-existent women to be with me. It kind of gets sad if you think about it too long, so I'm gonna stop.
You love me?
Yes, since I first met you. I know you don't want to stay in this town, and I know you don't want to marry him. all you've ever talked about was moving across the country and chasing after your dreams. I want to do that with you.
Get in the car.
What?
How much fiction do you think this person reads? Like, honestly, do you think they have, like... They have an archive of our own account, I bet.
I love you. Get in the car. Let's go.
At this point, I'm honestly just getting distracted by how unrealistic these videos are. Garrett, why is this person in a car? Why are you running distance from where they are? You're telling me this person is alone in their driveway on their wedding day? Care to explain that? Also, is this like a Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of situation? Is all of this happening in the same universe? Are you playing one character here? Because if so, how are you going to explain to the woman that just broke off her marriage for you that you have given a similar speech to probably 15 other women this week? That might cause an issue. However, thankfully for us, we don't have to deal with that issue because I think that I'm done for the day. I've seen enough, Garrett. Well,
Good.
guys, what do you think? Did you make it through unscathed? There's a whole subgenre of TikTok content that is literally nothing but this. Dudes acting out these goofy scenarios where they paint themselves as these heroes of women. I genuinely cannot understand how they can record stuff like this and then look at themselves in the mirror. I would say that one day the existence of these videos is going to come back to haunt them and will be the cause of many sleepless nights, but honestly, if they're this old doing it, I think they're too far gone. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and walk on over to that subscribe button and touch it. It's free. It won't cost you anything. But for now, that's all I have for you today. Bye.
Maybe that person, maybe they're just like into seeing themselves be happy, and that's like their favorite thing to do is look at themselves happy in the past. And they record all those so they can look at them be happy in the past. Mayhaps. I know, right?
People get banned from YouTube for a lot of reasons.
Old Link.
Some bullied kids.
How
Others
long are
did
you?
other
Hour. Get out of here. Get your hour ass out of here.
So it's
I
that
can't.
time of year again.
Hour
the
ass
time?
out of here. Nope.
What is going on, you guys? I'm gonna show you how I...
We're getting through my watch later, goddammit. Like, it is not supposed to be easy. It is supposed to be hard fucking fought. Okay, it's actually
Yatuga in First Berserker Kazan.
We're kind of skipping through it like an asshole.
On closed beta, it might change going forward. So if you're fighting this boss in the future, it's possible it could be tweaked a bit. But for now, this boss is pretty tough, and your parry game really needs to.
And then we'll go downtown.
So yeah, we're going to parry a lot in this fight. So I started the first phase with some light attacks. I didn't want to do too many heavy attacks yet because he will sneak in some attacks on you to damage you, even if it's just a little bit. So I just played it safe, did some light attacks, and then I waited for those parry opportunities. And that's really what we want to pay attention to, is just to get those parry combos down. And once he was staggered, or, you know, I hit that parry combo really nicely and I had some time there, that's when I would do my heavy attacks.
Fuck it.
But for the most part, we're staying a bit defensive
Dark Souls.
here.
Twitch, we might crash. I'll restart it if so. I'm sorry. YouTube, we might be good. Oh no, it's Dark Souls. We did the fucking, the thingy so it does windowed full screen properly. Oh shit, yes. Why don't I do this more? Okay, bringing Dark Souls on with you. It shouldn't now, but we'll see. I'm bringing the audio for Dark Souls on with you. 1 sec. Was that loud for you too? Yeesh. Sorry, hold on. Okay, and we'll pull 15 dB out of it and limit it lower. We'll limit it to -14. I'm barely able to speak nearly, and this is the loudest I should be. No, wait, this is the loudest I should be. I can't be loud right now. It hurts. That's still not the loudest. Okay, well, I tried. Fuck it. I don't care. I'll burn you in somehow, some way, and it is probably gonna be realizing that I suck. Now can I do it? Yeah, that's the loudest I'll get. Okay, there we go. That was hard. Okay, right? And then, owie.
Want to wait for those parries, like I said, but
this is where that's about at. So it's nearly, but it's a little bit lower. And then here's our game. For now. It might get louder and quieter. Let's see. We're in... Here. We're in Anorlando. I have to beat the first duel battle that we ever got inside a Souls game, and I'm apparently rezzing because I just like... Yeesh. I spawned in and died. Hold up.
Also, when it comes to his lunge attacks, him in the air, if you have the space, it's definitely worth it to dodge away. If you don't have the space and you feel like he's going to hit you, I found that parrying and then dodging out of it definitely can work. But you gotta be good with your timing, of course. When in all doubt, I would say block, and then maybe you'll hit that perfect parry, and that's even sweeter. Same thing goes for the second phase. If you feel in doubt that you're going to miss the dodge, just block it, because that's going to go further than you dodging and completely missing, and then he's going to put damage into you, and that just can be devastating. The second phase, of course, is tougher because he starts doing different moves. There's one where he literally pulls ice from the ground and then jumps in the air and stomps on you with this big block of ice. And I found that you cannot avoid it by dodging. You have to block this thing. So definitely block it, deflect it. Maybe you get a perfect parry.
So I got my answer, if anyone was curious. Humanity lets you, it gives you passive luck. But it also gives you, what's the word? Here, there we go. Okay, number of black spirits within one's bosom symbolizes the human nature and determines item discovery and resistance to curses. That's what we were doing. I was asking you all, I spaced on it, I checked when I was offline. Yeah. I even since humanity is a backup heal, we even have our humanity just hotted so we can top our health off from nothing. Let's see. Here's a bonfire. Here's multiplayer. The only other thing you get from being not hollow is you can multiplayer. You cannot multiplayer if you're hollow, so you kind of get stuck playing alone until you get some humanity, but rats have more humanity than humans, and you can buy humanity too. Boop. Rats have more humanity than humans. Also, this is now my favorite place to just kind of chill. It's really nice here. I'm going to show you around my new favorite,
I was never successful with a perfect parry. I just assumed I'm going to take some damage here, but at least I don't die. So you definitely need to block that. He also does another move where he runs at you into the wall. If you're lucky, you want this to happen, where he kind of turns into the berserker from Gears of War and he just runs at you into the wall and gets staggered. And that's where you want to put in damage as well. You want to avoid and dodge away from these attacks.
I'm so glad I did it.
Just like you would when he's in the air and lunging at you. You want to dodge to the side.
Was that
or,
a scripted or actual MP?
You can block them as well if you're lucky. You can get that good parry. So it's just about being patient, waiting for him to do his attacks, memorizing those attacks, and then parrying those attacks when you can, dodging if that's possible as well. And I know that's kind of common sense, but when it comes to this fight, it's really just that, just memorizing what he's gonna do and then having the answer for it. And when you do have him staggered, that's when you're going to want to put those heavy attacks in and just get it down.
Is my key
also,
stuck?
What I did as a little trick was when he was ready to go to that second phase and he was having that execution symbol on him, it has a timer on it.
I need to sit down at the
so
bonfire.
That's when I would put in some extra damage just to lead into it. It's a simple way to get some more damage in there, so definitely do that if you can. Also, make sure to follow his visual cues. Like, for example, this move right here where he just kind of shoots frost at you. You want to get some distance on this. Run, dodge. I was too close, so I had to dodge, and I took some damage here. But I did have that opening to go ahead and heal afterwards. The good thing about this boss is there's plenty of openings to recover.
Stop the attack.
It
was R1ing.
Just do your best to survive his combos and get away, and then you can heal, you can recover your stamina. There's moments where you can do that, and that's the good thing. I never felt too overwhelmed with this boss. It was just a matter of just executing what I had to do to counter him. That was really
I'm not good.
So once you get that down and you've seen him enough attempts, you'll definitely know what to do. And hopefully my video helps. Like I said, it's kind of common sense, but at the same time, I think if you visualize and see it with me, and as I'm explaining it, I think it'll help at least a little bit. So let me know if it did in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to play more of this game, but for now, this definitely gave me my fix, and I can't wait to play more, of course. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.
No, I'm just bad. That's a skill issue. I was late on one of them, and then skill issue happened. Okay, the game this person's playing looks so fun. There's their link again. I'm pretty predictable, okay? I do like combat games. It's just kind of my joy. It's not my only joy, but it's like one of them. It's on the top of the list, you know? I think it's definitely on the top 3. Can you see why I like these? It's really easy to look over and just like watch
waiting
it.
in lines for the gas stations that do have power, and these are really long lines. And obviously, as power gets restored, maybe some of them have generators that they can get on. And then the Port of Tampa's open. You're going to see the fuel flowing.
I am a Perry person.
But in the meantime, we want to give people another option. So this fuel depot here is one of the 3 sites that opened this morning. Plant City here.
I've been a Dodge person a lot before.
200 280K Road.
And a guard
then
person
St.
a lot
Pete,
before.
800 First Avenue
This is my
South
first
in
time
St.
being a
Pete.
Perry fucking fiend
We're in
and
the
just like
process of
unable to
doing
not.
more. And so these are
fun.
free
like
for people.
It's a winner.
We're doing 10 gallons per customer. So you go, you get it, and you can be on your way. So you're going to have more of these state-run sites that are going to be available. We understand particularly to get people through the weekend. We want to be able to use the fuel reserves that we provided and get those into people's tanks.
Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Dark Chapters with Annie Elise. This is a brand new series that we're doing over here
50
on
minutes.
the 10.
I apologize. How long are you keeping me? 9 minutes. Let's get it. There, I pulled off some DPs.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Hitman. Today's adventure takes us to the lovely state of Florida, a place of amazing sights, lovely, amazing weather, and most importantly, racing. The target today is one Robert Knox and one Sierra Knox. The items I'll be bringing with me for this adventure is the ICA 19 Chrome, the 5-wire, and the Lockpick Mark II. But anyway, with enough talking, let's get into this. We spawn in right in front of the entrance to the race centre. Now, our first order of business is actually to go down these stairs here, and you're also going to see now why I didn't bring coins with me. That's because in this game, you can do my favourite afternoon activity, stealing from the homeless.
No. Oh, thank you.
Our next order of business was to steal
that
this
was
guy's
so
outfit.
that was panic.
Now, who's this guy?
That was panic press galore. I didn't deserve that not dying. I should have died.
Bob, so naturally we're going to
I should have died so hard.
Which totally worked. So we silently and very carefully
that was greed. That's what happens when greed happens. Is this just like for realsies Hitman animations?
Our next mission was to walk into the building, which is what I did, which is then when I realized this place is way too fancy for me, and then I immediately walked back out and cried to myself with the sprinklers. I then realized I'm being a bit of a pussy and went back up to the building. I walked around for a bit, found this amazing robot and had a really intense robot-on-robot staring battle.
Ooh, sick.
Which is when randomly, all of a sudden, all the guards decided to start attacking me. Luckily for me, though, I've seen Quantum of Solace and Die Another Day. I will definitely be putting a complaint in. Okay, so with one swift restart later, I
when
find
I get back
myself
into
going
the
up these stairs
pattern
with
of it,
lovely gentlemen
it's that I can look away
sir.
and look at telly thingy.
Naturally, though, there's
while
one
I'm
dickhead who's gonna get
parrying
down
and
on their hands and
countering.
knees and suck my dick. So naturally, I took care of them in only the best way possible. I then walked down the corridor to go find Robert Knox to see exactly what he wants to show me. Turns out what Robert Knox wanted to show me is this insane high-tech machine that makes insanely good tacos. And it kills people, but nah, it's not important. He then showed me a very quick display on how this insanely good machine will work, and then it all clicked with me. This is a taco making machine, and well, Robert Knox was going to be So this machine works on finding its target by a photo, so naturally I spent the next 5 minutes trying to find a photo of Robert Knox, which is then where I came across this guy here who was talking about
be in a
how
bad
much he
place by the
loved
time I get
Fountain
back,
View,
so we're gonna grab
and now,
this bag
all of this
and,
been bought out. So naturally I helped him in the only way I possibly could.
One more for cockiness.
Anyway, back to finding the photos. So eventually I did end up finding the photos, which is when I then finally took it back to the room, then called in for Robert Knox to come in, and then we can have a look at it.
No,
but,
early. Fucking,
course,
oh my gosh.
His AI got stuck.
To me, I hate myself. To me, bitch, I hate your ass. Holy fuck, are you terrible.
Okay, so another restart layer. We're going to go through question
this
one,
is
how
so
they got sound
negligent.
both
This
on
is
the
the
inside
worst way to
and
do
the
this.
outside. Finally, get the photo
That
again,
was a bad
go
idea.
back, and of course his AI got stuck again. Third time is the charm, as they say. So this time the game didn't completely shit the bed. Luckily,
So
however,
bad.
this scientist did call for Robert Knox while being right next to Robert Knox.
Fuck it, hold on.
Welcome, sir.
We need to do some stuff. Give me a sec. I need to make it to where I can get ambushed first, or invaded first.
Luckily though,
that's
all my
like,
hard work did pay
first
off.
off, the important thing about not sleepy soulsing. Minutes fix my fucking glasses so I can fucking see. Hi. Teabag. T-posing. That's what they. That's teabagging, but T-posing.
With Robert Knox finally taken out, it's time for our next target, Sierra Knox. I made my way all the way back to where I started in the map right at the beginning of the race circuit.
I can have wireless
but
controller.
I realized something. I can't get in without being frisked. Well, shit. Well, since this way isn't going to work, looks like I'm going to have to find another way in. Now, luckily
is
for
Agent
me, there is this
47
little
a robot
area
now?
where there are 2 guards staring, so I should be able to get in, right?
Cracks me in the head.
I can because, well, the guards are blind. After pulling off some real Mission Impossible moves, I then realized once I snuck in, I saw this guard, and well, there was no way to get past him, so I did the only logical solution.
Kill him?
After finally sneaking
back
through,
of the head
I knew
face.
exactly
Was it there
where
that
I
I
needed
wanna
to
go?
go.
No, it's
but
here.
as soon as I got there,
No, it's
of
not.
course, this happened.
No, too close.
Deep vein
Well, not close
thrombosis, DVT, occurs when...
Yep, the game broke again. And this time, in a way I've never ever even seen the game break before. So,
the sound's
yes,
still playing.
I had to restart.
Can you stop
Not
the
from a
sound?
save,
Could you stop
the
the
whole
sound?
game. Hey, one more
it's
restart
gone now,
later
okay.
and we're back.
I took the
game
sound
doesn't
away.
crash this time. Our plan to kill
It's
Sierra
easier
Knox,
for me to
we're
parry
going to see
spear
what
when I'm
this
super
guy's
close.
over here. We're then going to act as an engineer, and then when she comes into the pit stop, I'm going to do a 10 out of 10 engineering job on her car. I went up these stairs here.
Okay,
to see
maybe
if
I
could
can't
find
look away as
any form
easy
of help to get
as
in.
my
I
phone
went down the
when it's
corridor,
my
and
Steam
all that
Deck
ended up
and my
is me
phone,
coming out of this
and
door
I'm
here,
laying
and I felt
down,
famous.
and the screens are both small.
And
I'm
anyway,
just
so I
chilling.
found this door, ended up sneaking
I'll have the
into
screens
pit
right
stop
by
area,
each other and I'll
then
just be
realized there was
laying
nothing I
down.
could do in
I'll
here without
prop
the
one up
outfit and
on the
immediately
couch,
left. I
higher
then,
up,
for
and
some
arc my
reason,
phone
decided
to me.
run towards this
Have
car
YouTube
here.
on my
For
phone.
no reason, I genuinely
deck
don't
in
know
my
why I
hand.
did that. I then, of course, got caught, but luckily this
peak
guy had the
goober
exact
mode. It's
outfit I
really
needed, so I
weird, but
very
I like it. It's
delicately took
cozy.
care of him. I did all
I
of
don't
this
get it often,
and
but when I
steal his
do,
outfit right
it's
in
pretty
front of another
sweet.
guard, and he
Is it this way,
didn't do
for
anything.
real?
Like I said, the guards in this game are blind. After
Yes.
finally getting properly in, I found the exact item that I needed, and now
This is not
we
the way
were
I want to
ready.
go. Okay.
With Sierra
We're still
Knox
kinda
finally
early game
taken out,
Magic
we
Men.
can now make our dubious
It's like
escape
halfway through the game, I
without
guess. I don't
even
know.
being seen.
I don't know, cousin. There's stuff to do. I got lost getting up here. Hold on. I get turned around a lot. And good news, there's a lot of souls here. Can I level up with this? I've been leveling up good and hard. Oh, I also got distracted, actually.
I said we can
say
now
that
make
like
our
it's a useful
dubious
thing.
getaway
I didn't put
without
much into
being seen.
I didn't put much
Now
raw
we had to
into
do a
health,
bit
did
of
I?
crowd hiding to make sure
Did
we
I?
wouldn't
No,
be
I
seen.
did. I did.
But
I
after
finally
all that,
did.
now we can finally, safely make it all the way to the exit. Our final
I learned
score
to
of
suck less
25 minutes, 39,000 points, 1 star, and the title of Black Cat.
Fire orb, fireball.
Yep, I'm pretty sure we can all agree
Fireball
that
costs less.
0 out of 10, game sucks.
0 out of 10. I'll agree because it makes you happy. Honestly, I just haven't been in the mood to play, like, I haven't been in the mood to play a Hitman property in so long. I think it's, like, cute that they're still going. There's that. Really? No, early? Fuck you. Thank you. No? Please? Please? Yes. Beep. How long is this? 20 minutes. I can do this. Boosh. Boop. I tried to do the Sekiro heal up arrow. It is not up arrow currently. It is not the Sekiro heal. I have to suck ass. I wish it were the Sekiro heal. That would be nice. Nope. I don't wish. It just would be convenient. Okay, so I can like have cool I can spawn a homie in. But I keep dying when I wander in here because I don't know what I'm doing yet. And I've wandered in here once. And I've also forgotten how to get here as of recent, so... Oh shit. Is my mouse less sensitive? Not my mouse. My thing doer is less sensitive, I think. Oh, I really can't right now. It's the first dually you get of this game.
With the written word. In our world,
it is not a fun time if you are me and you don't remember this fight.
6,000 years ago, when the inhabitants of Uruk
and you definitely played it with a big ass sword. You know you had a Zweihander. And this is your first play that can't even wield a Zweihander.
At least not in the sense that we mean it today. Because there was no
They don't have much health, but I need to learn them before I risk the bot.
There was no culture. In fact, far from it. The first use of tools dates all the way back to between 2 and 3
Oh wait,
million
I have a
years
sword
ago.
for this. I forgot.
Jewelry has been found dated to
we're good.
150,000 years ago. Anyone who has seen the incredibly detailed and beautifully evocative paintings at Chauvet Cave in France, dating to about 40,000 years ago, will immediately understand that just because people don't write down their history does not mean that they don't have a rich cultural community. So while our history begins at its earliest in the 4th millennium BC, our prehistory is a fascinating story, a tale of humanity's origins and of our true nature. And because our sources of information are so different, it's up to the archaeologists and anthropologists among us.
This is
to
Tarnished
tell it.
Archaeologist's intro.
Dark Souls, by comparison, blurs the lines between prehistory and history deliberately. The mythic cosmogony of Dark Souls begins with the narration of the opening cutscene, and for the sake of simplicity, let's just assume the narrator is reliable.
Now I'm just fucking tarnished.
Meanwhile, history
Not
in Dark
tarnished.
Souls
I'm
begins
hollow.
with the written word. The compilation of item descriptions and other documentary sources through which we can know many of the more recent specifics of the world. But between and with fire came disparity, and the written word of Lordran is a massive gap, much like in our own world, heavily obscured by the depths of time and the lack of written evidence, but no less significant or compelling.
To take just one minor example, from what we're shown in the opening cutscene, after Gwyn and the others find the Lord Souls, he and his Silver Knights attack the ancient dragons with Gwyn's bolts of lightning. But what the hell happened in between those two scenes? First, we are shown naked, primitive beings crawling from the dark towards the light of the first flame, and then we are shown an army preparing for battle. An army, complete with intricate, standardized plate armor, requires a high level of civilizational organization, to say the least.
Or it is humanity.
In fact, the cynical among us might even say that such war-making innovations are the hallmarks of civilizational structure. In order to have an army like this, there must be a complex, specialized society behind it. For most of human existence, there was no such thing as a soldier, much less a knight. Most fighting was done by whoever was available, using weapons which were likewise a matter of availability. Gwyn and his knights have skipped several millennia of real-world civilizational progress in the span of a single scene.
I need to just roll on entry. I need to get this through my silly goober head.
By the time of this cutscene, Gwyn is already a king, or at least a lord, again implying substantial hierarchy and organization that is not directly attested to nor explained. And this is not specific to Gwyn and his knights. The gold-hemmed black set tells us that Quelana, quote, wore this gold-hemmed black set before even the Age of Fire, end quote, indicating that Izalith too had societal structure, a hierarchy codified in dress, etc., even before the Age of Fire.
I won't get much time for that.
There is much that will never be known about these periods.
And they punish me if I heal with line of sight right now, I think.
Implied, but never directly spoken of. Like in our own world, between the age of mythology and the age of proper history, lies the yawning chasm of prehistory. But just like in our own world, just because we can't read about it doesn't mean we can't study it. Only we must rely on the archaeology.
It's the first one where it's not just one thing I have to learn how to.
And nowhere is this more true than in the ancient human settlement of Ulasil,
and engage.
A city built atop a site where prehistoric man once dwelt.
I'm trying so hard to catch the other one on a fucking rock.
Today, Ulasil is a ruined abyssal wasteland. Before that, it was a bustling human city with a flourishing culture of golden light magic. We know the inhabitants of the city we meet in the DLC are human because the bloathead mask tells us their, quote, humanity went wild, end quote. But even before the events of the DLC, long before the ornate tiled structures and Romanesque arches of Ulasil arose, there were humans living on this land.
Fuck.
According to Chester,
I wanted to try the jump thingy. I wanted to try rolling on it again.
Itself. Fooled by that toothy serpent, they upturned the grave of primeval man and incited its ornery wrath, end quote.
Boop.
The use of the word primeval there is quite interesting, as it seems to imply a human settlement before modern Ulasil. Awesome. And sure enough, when we find Manus's grave, it does indeed bear all the hallmarks of a prehistorical people, specifically a megalithic burial site. The physical grave itself indicates, based on its shape, that Manus's original form was humanoid, or more specifically, in the shape of the humanity sprites we see throughout the Chasm of the Abyss. Of course, by comparison to his current boss fight form, we can tell that his humanity running wild has warped his physical form. This is consistent with the description of his soul, which tells us, quote, ancient Manus was clearly once human.
It's peas.
End quote.
It's pickled peas.
Physically twisting his form in much the same manner as happened to the human inhabitants of Ulasil. The grave is raised slightly, and the form is molded into the stone, which is actually quite atypical for Stone Age and Bronze Age burials, as we will see.
It just happens out of the blue.
Perhaps this was chosen by the developers to clearly convey the human form of ancient Manus.
I can manage without
had he been buried in a dugout pit,
stuff in
like most Stone Age burials we know of,
but it
would be much harder to convey this message. Speaking of his physical form, the form into which he has mutated is informative as well.
with his recurrent
orange
horn-like protrusions.
Which both would usually
This
fuck
and
up my
the
tummy.
fact that he's a sorcerer, based on his staff, the sorceries he wields during his boss fight, and his item descriptions,
If I, like, you know,
makes this
only
picture
ate them.
evocative of Stone Age,
Here, let me
specifically
explain.
Middle Stone Age or Mesolithic shamans.
If
He
I
even
have
uses
orange
an
juice,
old
it's all
wooden
going
catalyst,
away.
quite fitting a pre-metalworking
That's not
society.
necessarily helpful.
Of the discovered Stone Age
Not
shamans, the
always,
most famous
but, like,
is at Bad Durenberg,
you
which
know,
was discovered in modern-day
historically.
Germany and dates to roughly
I am an L of
9,000
orange
years ago.
juice.
Based on the animal bones found at this and related sites, archaeologists think that shamans, which is to say religious animists, in the ancient human time period used to wear the bones and skins of animals to perform their rituals, often specifically wearing antler headdresses to give themselves horns. These are ideas FromSoft would later iterate upon with the antler horns of cleric beasts in Bloodborne, even going so far as to
Hornshin?
have Brador scalp his slain cleric beast compatriot and don his antlers thereafter. Of
Fuck
course,
Queen
given
America.
that this is prehistory,
Fuck
we
the
can't
Golden
know
Order.
precisely what these
Fuck the
rituals were,
Erdtree.
but it appears likely that they would commune with the spirit world, including ancestor spirits. The word shaman or shamanism derives from the word for to know, and is one of the commonest and earliest forms of religious practice. The shaman is the hallmark of the naturalistic religions that long predated our current religious landscape. Likewise, the artifact, perhaps grave good, over which Manus obsesses is the broken pendant, which reads, quote, "Half of a broken stone pendant. The vine appears to originate from Ulasil. A powerful magic can be sensed from this ancient stone." End quote. This too appears consistent with the materials used in Meso and Neolithic periods, largely stones, shells, bones, etc. All of this points to a Stone Age shamanistic tradition, with the salient features being the artifact made of stone, not metal, as opposed to Artorius' pendant, which is explicitly from Anor Londo, and the chain of the pendant being made from a vine, again indicating a naturalistic religion. So Manus, in his time, was likely a Stone Age shaman, a kind of proto-sorcerer, if you will, in the days of ancient man. But the most evocative aspects of this site are the surrounding stone pillars, most of which are broken during the boss fight, but one can still see the remnants after the fact, and they indicate unambiguously that this is a megalithic burial site, specifically of the stone circle type. Megalithic stone circles are one of the most famous kinds of Neolithic, although some date to the early Bronze Age, cultural sites.
So how did this person get the humanity?
Of course, everybody knows about Stonehenge,
Who'd they take
especially
it
if
from?
you're a long-term viewer of
Was
the
it
channel.
just taken because
But
they
Stonehenge
everyone else
is
lost
a bit
it?
peculiar, as it
Were they
is not
cultivating
just a
it?
concentric
Of their
stone
loved and
circle,
lost
but
ones?
also a henge-type site, which
What was
refers not
going
to the
on with their
standing
life?
stones, but to
Why
the
are they like
surrounding
this?
ditch and embankment. Stonehenge is almost the exception that proves the rule. It has many peculiarities which are not necessarily generalizable to the rest of the stone circles. And boy, are there a lot of them.
Bring it back.
Over 1,000 stone circles have been found just in Britain and northwestern France, and all dating to within a few century-long window,
I'm so
indicating
hollow.
this culture and practice was spread throughout the region by
Okay.
a common people. And though
We
their
go tell them
exact
out of
purpose
humanity.
is not entirely known, they seem to have been partially used as grave sites or mausolea.
I'm gonna be out of humanity
based on
soon.
the presence of
I'm
skeletons
just learning
and
how to
cremated
start with the
remains,
boss.
along with grave goods.
With this kind of
And
build.
given how early they appear in the archaeological
haven't tried
record,
burying them
many
yet.
in the 3rd
Have
millennium
I?
BC, and how much effort it would take to construct them with Stone Age or early Bronze Age technology, they reflect
Wrong way.
an unseen religious organization that may forever remain mysterious to us. Beyond stating the obvious that this reflects a kind of ancestor worship,
I need to
we
do
can't
the
say much about
thingy.
the precise
Hold on.
usage of these stone circles. But there's something almost universal about this practice, because while the British versions may be the most famous, they are
Shit.
certainly not
Titties.
restricted to Europe. The hunter-gatherer Jomon people of prehistoric Japan, in particular, made many standing stone monuments with at
Fuck.
least superficial similarity to those
Oh,
in
shit.
other
Not a
parts
good
of
choice.
the world.
Bad choice.
Here they were probably not burial sites, as there is no evidence of systematic burial, unlike their European cousins.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Instead, some have been found to function as sundials,
This is our side.
Mostly they are thought to have been ceremonial sites, which in archaeology speak just means we really don't know. So it makes sense in a way that Miyazaki and his team would fuse the prehistoric traditions of his own land, specifically the Jomon, with the perhaps more recognizable prehistoric monuments of Britain, especially as the game is set in a European setting. Returning back to Manus' grave, we can see that this all fits quite nicely. He is buried in the middle of Neolithic
I'm taking
concentric
NPC
stone
friend.
circles, clearly conveying his
hair.
primeval origins.
Fuck.
Before we continue, let's just appreciate Miyazaki and co.
Soul
for
hair is
using
gonna die
IRL
in this
archaeology
room.
to convey this message. I know we make this point a lot, but it is just so exceptional that it really needs to be pointed out. Without ever needing someone to directly tell us that Manus dates back to the dawn of man, so to speak, to a pre-literate society of shamans and animism, the story is right there all the same. Now, to be fair, no megalithic stone circles, at least as far as we're aware, have been found inside of a cave like this one. But caves are sites of immense importance to the development of religious practices in human prehistory.
And invaded.
Shamanistic
I know
ritual
that's soul
implements,
hair.
burial sites, and stunning wall art have all been found in caves across several continents. There is even evidence from Shanidar
Oh, that's you. I
Cave
thought that was
in
soul
modern
hair.
Iraq,
For some reason, I
though
imagined
its
soul hair lost
interpretation is,
armor.
of course, hotly
I'm
contested.
a goober.
That
Oh,
even
soul hair is almost dead. Oh no,
Neanderthals
it's my
buried their
fault.
dead in caves. So ancient
It's soul
humanity
hair,
and
not soul hair.
caves go a long way
I'm an
back,
asshole.
to say the least.
It's soul hair if you
wanted
ask
to
me.
depict the grave of primeval man, putting a megalithic stone circle inside of a cave is a pretty ingenious
Fuck,
way
I thought
to
I
do
could
that.
roll before that last time.
But that was all long, long ago.
They synergy okay
Manus
together.
and his people have
It's
long
not
since
great, but they
passed on,
synergy okay.
And over top their burial sites was built a
I
Golden
like it.
Age city, in much the same manner as the Romans and later Anglo-Saxons, and then later still the
Here,
Normans,
I'll
provided
do
successive
them
waves
in
of
before I
cultural
use the
influence
last
onto the
humanity.
British Isles,
It's fine.
modifying but not
We got this,
eliminating the
shall?
pre-Roman, pre-literate Britannic
No,
culture.
bad timing.
Vestiges of Ulaseel's
Bad timing to
ancient
press.
naturalistic religion remains here and
Thank
there.
you.
In the way that their sorceries are drawn not from moon magic or crystals, but from golden light. In the way that their gardeners are literally turning into plants. And their sorcerers use birch tree branches as catalysts. We can see the remnants of Ulaseel's prehistoric past shining through. The Ulaseel we explore is dominated by Romanesque architecture.
When they
Again,
raise their
quite
hand,
a
you
fitting
can get that
choice
little
by
bit
the
extra arc
developers.
on them.
The beautiful arches and
Me having
rotundas
this sensitivity
concealing
jacked
at
up
their
is
depths
really
the
helping, but I
very
need a little
origins
bit
of
higher,
mankind,
honestly.
in much the same way that actual
The deck is
Romanesque
really
architecture
easy to
would come
maneuver
to
on.
dominate
I
Britain.
think a little bit more would be
Beautifully
nice.
ornate
Not
cathedrals
necessary,
and
but I
plazas
would like
built
it.
right over top the graves
I can
of
do with
primeval
this.
man.
I just want a little more. I'm gonna have to go to like the
But of
controller
course,
settings
that
to
is
get
not
it.
where the story ends, because the inhabitants of Ulaseel would one day
So we're gonna
stumble
look at
across
Steam
their
together.
own past, deep in the chasm of the abyss.
Together forever, being goobers, eating tubers, being nifty.
Let us
What the
now
fuck was he
turn
doing?
to the Ulaseel Sanctuary,
Oh yeah,
or if the
sensitivity.
original Japanese is to be trusted,
Edit.
to the Ulaseel Mausoleum.
Sticks?
Sanctuary
Yes,
in
please.
English derives from the words meaning house or container for the sacred, and the Japanese word rebyo connotes
Yes.
that it is specifically
Can
a
have more?
sanctuary where the dead, or their spirits, are housed and worshipped. So already, just from the name, we know this is a sacred place, one that likely houses spirits. We entered the sanctuary through a narrow tunnel of vegetation,
Thank you.
making the reveal of the sanctuary at large all the more stunning.
Fine. Then left.
Surrounding and defining the
Aggro.
structure is an arched colonnade, the roof of which has long since collapsed.
Oh, let's keep it up in case I fucked up, which I probably did.
But of course, the most remarkable and evocative features
Oh, it
of
feels
this
so
place
good. Oh,
are the
it feels so
statues
good.
of
Oh, it
humanoid
feels so
forms throughout the
fucking
sanctuary.
great. Oh.
One might
Oh, it
simply
feels
guess
so
that
good.
these statues
Oh, I like it.
represent the
Oh, I
spirits
like it.
being
I love it. I
worshipped,
love it. It's
and
my
while
favorite.
partially true,
Thank you for
the
letting me
full
meet our new
story
friend.
is far more intricate and
It's a little
fascinating
much.
than that.
I could go
The
for a
statues
level less.
themselves are monoliths,
On
carved
the
from single stone. They have scratches
right side?
circumferentially around the
Right
torso,
side.
which look vaguely like a writing script. And
Ooh,
these
fuck me.
scratchings are also found on the facade as well as on some of
No,
the
come back.
uncovered stone in front of the statues. It's very hard to tell whether this is
Linear.
intended to convey a script
And then
or
left will
whether
stay the
this is
other
just a
for aggro?
reused texture.
I guess.
Though if
Yes.
it is indeed writing, it would indicate that they are built by a later
Okay.
society than the one to
Oof,
which Manus
oof.
belonged. Either way, we reach the same conclusion by the classical architecture of the colonnade and the adjacent arena. These are structures of a later, more advanced society. The form of the statues themselves, however, is where things start to get really
160?
interesting.
Come on.
They
160.
are
Oh, gosh.
unmistakably in the form of the humanity
160.
sprites seen throughout
Okay,
the chasm of
aggro
the
would be
abyss.
2.
From this, we can immediately draw one critical conclusion.
My
The people
glasses are
that built
falling.
this
Hold on.
sanctuary had already
Okay,
seen
I'm okay with this.
and were
This is
familiar
fine.
with the chasm of the abyss.
Only
Not only
downside,
that, but this was
hollow.
such a significant moment for them that they built a
We got
sanctuary
this.
to
Oh, it's so
house
responsive.
effigies of the humanity
It's
sprites.
so
Here,
responsive.
the
I
real-world
love it.
archaeology is only
Its
partially
name is
useful.
Bestie.
The closest
Goddamn.
IRL cognate to something like
Don't
this,
tell Chai.
giant humanity statues, would be the
Or do.
Moai from Easter Island, or perhaps related tiki and similar statues from Southeast Asian cultures. In both cases, the statues
so fun,
represent
it glides
ancient
with
humans.
us.
In the case of the Moai, they
It's
are
so
thought to
good.
represent ancestor worship. To bring this back to Ulasil, this would make a certain amount of sense. After all, the humanity sprites, by way of being fragments of the Dark Soul, are, in a sense, the ancestors of all mankind in this world. So it may be that the Ulasilians were practicing a form of ancestor worship here. But that is only a partially satisfying explanation. For one, the statues depict the larger and lesser forms of the humanity sprites, precisely what is seen in the Chasm of the Abyss, but not exactly what you'd expect for ancestor worship. And furthermore, like the Moai of Easter Island, which all face the ocean from the nearby bluffs, these statues are oriented in a very particular manner. In fact, they are all arranged in a manner as to suggest that they are gazing
might be a
inwards
little
towards the
distractible.
central hearth, where today the
And I might be
bonfire
right.
sits. This is not just any ancestor worship. It seems this sanctuary depicts a very specific scene.
No.
It depicts a scene.
The first
of
one was
first
angle.
contact.
The second was panic. I
No
swear to
Lucille by
fuck, the
now
first
is
one was
no
approach.
stranger
I was
to
at the
chasm
wrong
of
angle.
abyss and its secrets.
And that's
Of course, they
positioning, that's my
eventually
fault,
perturbed
that's
the
skill
grave of
issue.
Manus and set his
But that's what it
humanity
was.
loose.
You gotta be in the right
But
place.
what about before that?
Like,
Based on the
check
fact that
it.
there are not one, but two
You know?
elevators leading directly from
Right.
Ulasil down to the chasm.
You gotta have it in the right
it's
arc.
safe to say they visited
That's a
the
skill
place
issue.
fairly often. And based on the scene
Here.
in the Ulasil sanctuary, we know they revered these humanity sprites.
But check it.
A significant amount of time
Oops,
must have
hold on.
passed between the building of this sanctuary and the eventual catastrophe that would befall the city. And once again, Miyazaki and his team have
If
made
you're just
that
a little
quite
bit
clear
beyond
based on the
right in front.
architecture. The sanctuary is classical and is already so old that it is collapsing, only the archways and the facade remaining,
Supers.
whereas Ulasil proper is Romanesque, a later style, and aside from the spreading corruption of the abyss, is in pretty good shape, at least structurally speaking. So
Anywho's,
to
it's
return
not
to
like a
the
bubble,
humanity statues,
but it was
what
like,
this
I'm not
all
gonna line
seems
it
to
up right
convey
now,
is
which is
that
really
at the
shitty,
time they
so
were
I should
built,
be able to.
prior to the current peak
Which
age
means
of
I should
Ulasil,
probably make the
they
controls less
reflected
goober filled.
knowledge of the chasm of the abyss and the humanity
Oops.
contained therein. And the peculiarities of this scene can be understood only with the knowledge
gosh,
that this
oops.
sanctuary commemorates a very specific moment in time, the discovery of the chasm, and the first contact with the humanity sprites. That is why both larger and smaller humanity sprites are shown, just as they are today in the chasm.
That is why the colony was built around the sanctuary.
Well, my shield is like
it in much the same manner
it's the buckler.
as a cave.
It's just called a small.
In fact, in real-world British prehistory, the most famous types of grave sites, the long barrows and even more so the dolmen,
mechanics and like getting back
are thought
into
to
it.
have
You're
been built
here
for exactly this purpose.
Sorry.
As artificial caves in which to conduct shamanistic rituals and
I should have got the humanity. That was kind of ignorant.
This is how humanity adapted its religious practices for a brave
This gets
new
me a
world.
lot as it gets later in the
So
day.
One can imagine how
I
this
just
would have
don't
looked
look
at its peak.
for my
The initiate being walked
bits,
through the
my
narrow
bobs.
tunnel entrance.
There we go. Wait for the attack to start.
Then
Then
entering
creep a little
the
more.
massive enclosed sanctuary.
Once their attack goes off,
like
they can
a
rotate
grand
more.
artificial cave. The flickering light of the central bonfire scattering dancing shadows across the faceless forms
My
of
bad.
the
I
humanity
attacked.
sprites.
I attacked when I really
What a
shouldn't have.
powerful scene this must have been, even
I was
in
like,
its
oh,
reconstruction.
they're gonna be open.
And
I'll
finally,
swing,
commemoration of
and
this scene
then
of
they'll
first
swing at
contact
me after I
explains
swing,
the peculiar
and I'll use that to get
orientation
back
of the
in.
statues
And
in
what
the
happened
sanctuary.
was what you saw.
This must have been
Which is
how
not
they
that.
were actually
That is not what
found
happened.
during that very first encounter.
Early.
It's possible the central point of orientation was Manus's grave itself, that they were all found congregating
Here, I'll
around
just
his
rag on
grave.
myself.
But that's not exactly
fun
what we
that way.
see in game, and while possible, we favor another interpretation. Today, in the central hearth, the humanity statues face a bonfire, and we know that humanity is drawn to the flame.
This one.
So imagine the first explorers of this cave, stumbling across the chasm, their torchlight faintly illuminating the walls, and being slowly surrounded by the humanity sprites, curious, alien, and powerful, drawn like moths to the flame. This is the Prometheus moment, when humanity discovered its attraction to fire. This in Dark Souls and in the real world is the most important story we don't know. The moment the first humans were drawn to fire, poked at it, carried it, eventually mastered it, is when everything changed for our species. The first technological
This
advance
door is a
that
trap.
began everything.
Hey, homie.
The most important moment of unknowable prehistory. It is no coincidence that no other mammal is drawn to fire, including our own cousins, non-human primates. Quite the opposite, in fact. Modern humans, the survivors of countless layers of genocidal competition with other
Generalized.
hominids, still
Not all
present
humans
a
and not all
common
non-humans
innate
are
attraction
dissuaded
to it.
or attracted.
It is no stretch to imagine that the first weird mutant of a
Unfortunately,
primate that
because
felt an
fire is
urge
fun.
toward fire,
It's warm.
rather than to run away from it, would eventually learn to harness its power.
I guess not fire.
And with it, a
Thermal
terrifying
energy is a
and
roll.
deadly advantage over all those who would not. And so
No,
began true
early.
humanity,
Fuck, that
selected
looks
for
like
its
it's coming in
ability
way
to harness
faster than it
fire
does.
and everything it afforded. Warmth, light, protection, cooking, metal. In the paleoanthropological
tits.
record, the first evidence of a hearth appears 800,000 years ago in the Eastern
You
Mediterranean.
do that, and then you follow up.
In Dark Souls, that Prometheus
Okay.
moment happens
You make
in
me
Lucio,
roll, and then
where
you
we still
follow
see
up, right?
commemoration
When do you
of
come at me?
humanity's first gathering around.
Do you just want
a
to come
hearth.
first? Who wants to hit me
Like
first?
Elizabeth says, quote,
Come on,
may the
can I get you
flames
stuck?
guide thee, end quote. And here, in the Ulysseal
Yes.
Sanctuary, we have a
I
representation
got so excited
of
I looked away.
humanity's dual
God damn
nature.
it.
We are drawn to the flame, but we are born of the dark.
I'll try again. Wait, if it would have worked. We can check if we can parry them even. Because I will go until I can't if I have to. Yep. Boosh.
The Jay-Z's of the
Where are you?
world don't have a bunch of lunatics
If
around.
it's too long, we're
But
skipping.
There is always some sort of
I
remnants
don't even
of
care if
his
it's DJ
old-
Blood. If it's too
There
long,
is some,
transformed.
but
I'm
all
not
those
doing it.
people had
You're
to
stuck
involve.
with me.
I honestly think
Give me a sec.
that at some
I'll give you the link
point,
either way.
although Dame did contribute heavily
Brennan.
to the early Rockefeller days, no one is going to rewrite history and say that Dame was not a key part of Rockefeller's success.
I tried to
Dame
sneak a
fought
tap.
hard for to let people recognize Jay-Z's talent when people were overlooking him.
Right.
He would be the one that would be yelling and screaming and
believer.
Oh no, I turned because I was scared.
Early believer.
Right.
I wanted to check behind me.
He was an early believer in Kanye. He was an early believer in Cameron when Cameron was sort of in limbo and so forth. And when he brought him over to Rockefeller, Cameron I don't know if Cameron would be where he is today if it wasn't for Dame believing in him way back when.
Right.
And getting that Rockefeller look. A lot of really dope rappers out there who I have respected, like the Mike Geronimo's and so forth.
I'm so bad. How do I suck this much? Why do I even?
After their initial run, didn't
I have the audacity to wake up in the mornings and
well
shit.
As they should have.
Right.
And I think Mike Geronimo's dope.
9 minutes.
People like Bad
you're
Seed,
perfect.
I thought was dope. They just weren't given the chances, and they didn't have someone like a Dame believing in them and pushing them hard.
You're perfect.
I get that. But after a while,
Pro
I
tip.
think Jay saw
Even
Dame
my
as a
VODs can be long
liability.
for me sometimes.
He's slapping Steve Stout.
It depends.
He's
I try to
yelling at
stick to
everyone.
like
You know what I'm
18-ish
saying?
minutes at the most.
He's
Unless I have something really
more
cool to do.
problems than solutions, and ultimately, I think Jay had to move on and leave
Your
certain people
fucking
behind.
great grandma was 9 minutes.
I hear what you're saying.
Ryu.
I hear what you're saying, but you got to remember,
I know
these
what you're
guys
saying.
were like this.
But you gotta remember.
So
Your
when
grandma,
Dame is
your
slapping
great
Steve
grandma
Stout,
and I.
Jay
Great
is stabbing on-
grandma and I.
You know what I'm saying?
We were like this.
That's a good point.
Like, bro, let's not forget that these were like brothers.
That's a good point.
You feel what I'm saying?
I'm not doubting that.
I do believe
It's a good point.
I do believe that at some point there's a
This is the best
divide and
shit talk I've
conquer
got.
type thing going on. And,
Oh no. What do you want? This is what I can do.
For some
About the
reason I
best I
don't
could.
understand. I think
Well,
Biggs and
for
Jay
now.
was able to get
I'll
past
talk more
it,
shit later.
and
It's
Dame
okay.
and Jay
Is
was.
there a fucking bonfire up here?
Yeah, listen, Biggs and Jay are still in a good space.
Yeah.
Last I checked.
So
I know Biggs. I've interviewed him multiple times.
Bonfires.
Biggs
Isn't
has a
there
different
another
personality though.
one?
Biggs has always
Biggs
been
on Twitter.
Cities.
Fucking guru.
Yeah.
He is a fucking guru on Twitter.
You can't
bro.
jump in this
in terms
game.
of positivity.
Or else
No,
you could do
but
this.
just life lessons and
You can
like,
fall. You can
like
roll.
these mini quotes just like, oh, I'm gonna take that with me through life. It's amazing. I don't know who's that. I don't know if that's him. If
I
it's
feel
him,
like there
then,
is a bonfire. I just don't remember where it is.
All this time, write a book, something.
Oh, fuck.
But
I think the
Early
thing
'cause
with
I was scared.
Biggs
Panic.
is that
Whoosh. At least I don't
think
have
that
arrows.
Biggs was clearly aware of where he was in the grand scheme of it. You know what I'm saying? I think that he understood that I think he was funded the whole thing initially, doing whatever he was doing. We talked about.
I think they all did.
Yeah, but I heard that Biggs was sort of like the big dog in the streets out of those three. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. And I think Biggs realized how privileged of a position he was in, considering that he wasn't the rapper.
Luck.
And, he
I felt
wasn't
they were
like
gonna
the big
follow up, but I didn't
personality
look
that
for it.
Dame was. You know what I'm saying? He was more quiet and low-key. And I think that he played his
Good
position.
committing is a pause. Always.
And was
on these.
always humble. And this is, and I've had multiple interviews with
So
him as
bad.
well as conversations with him.
Right.
That's just him in terms of his personality. Some people will say, look, like a Tony Yayo.
I just want a
right?
closer bonfire.
Tony Yayo was clearly aware of his position in the
If
grand
there is
scheme of
one.
things when it comes to G-Unit.
Right.
At no point is Tony gonna say, I'm a better rapper than 50.
Hey, here's our second friend.
At no point will
There's a lot of cool.
Yayo say anything negative
Oh, it's not
about
on
50.
our second only. There's like a
And
lot of
Yayo
cool.
will even say that regardless of where the
we're
relationship
back where
is,
I was.
they've
Wow.
had their ups and downs over the years.
All right, hold
he
up.
said, regardless
Yeah,
of where
that's
me
that,
and
homie.
50 are on any given day,
Shit.
I'm not going to take a picture
Where's
of 50's
Blacksmith
ops.
again? Why am I so
like a
easily
young
turned
buck
around?
did. See what I'm saying? Or like a Lloyd Banks did.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Boosh.
Because he understands where he is, and he even would say things like, look.
That's going too far.
Really?
No, it is going too far.
Explain.
Like taking a picture with an op, shit like that. Like it shows your character.
Right.
Like,
Lloyd
sir,
Banks took a
If
picture
you're
with Game.
if you
and 50 and Lloyd Banks
I
were
can
not
say
the
it
same
depends
after
why.
like if you look at like what people popularize now. I saw a post by Mano. Shout out to Mano. And he was like, I don't want to be the guy that people contact you so that you can talk about another guy that you used to be cool with. There's a lot of guys that's running around right now. I mean, Yayo, his loyalty, that's just, I don't know.
You want
you
links?
don't run into
Yes,
that
you do.
every day.
Give me a second.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that, I don't know. They just
Guess
get
what?
emotionally.
Your great
reckless,
grandpappy, 9 minutes.
They don't understand the
9
scale
whole fucking minutes
of the shit that they're
That's
doing.
all it took.
Yeah. And despite
to
I
win
believe
that
sometimes
motherfucker's
it's due to drugs, it's due to
soul in
whatever
a game of
they're
backgammon.
going through
Backgammon.
in life at that moment, and they're just
Oh, no.
casting blame and being as vindictive as
Oh,
they
gosh.
can. And
Oh, the
then they're
second one just came
sorry
in
later.
there.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for everyone.
It doesn't.
Especially when the
That's
other
fine.
person is so far above you in terms of their status, their impact, their money, whatever else. They don't have to make it right with you.
Right.
I'm so fail right now. It's
they
weird
could
playing
say,
it on
okay,
this.
thank you for the apology. I'm not going
It's
to keep
fine.
taking shots at
I can
you,
get
but that
over
doesn't
it.
mean
It's
I'm going to
just
let you back
weird.
in.
Yeah, somebody recently reached out and said they wanted to apologize to me. Someone that used to be on the show. And I was like, and I guess got back to them and they're back online talking shit again. This is what I'm saying.
Right,
Like
well,
it's an unstable
Oosh.
behavior.
My glasses
Like,
keep
it's just-
slipping. Is it like my hair?
you can't call it with them. I
hold on.
understand why. Like, people are upset that 50 recorded Young Buck.
Yeah.
Weird.
But what it was like, yo, y'all don't see this shit as like
Retrieval.
unstable. Like this nigga's unpredictable.
Right.
1 minute is fuck me and this, that, and the next minute is this. This is what
Crying,
I'm dealing with over here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't agree with recording conversations and shit like that, but
Depends on the
sometimes
conversation.
it's like, yo, it's easy to believe it's me because I'm the rich one. For some reason, y'all just want to believe we all fucked
Like,
up.
honestly, if
Maybe
my
he's
dad
rich,
talks to
yeah,
me, I'm
he
recording
he's
it. I
probably
don't
fucked up.
trust
He's
that
jerking
man.
niggas,
I'm
he's
not
doing
safe
this,
around
he's doing
him.
that. Sometimes it's not
Fuck
that.
that.
Sometimes
However,
the people around you feel obligated
if my
to
one
something
homie
that they
called
don't
me,
deserve,
of course not.
and they're abusing your kindness. And the day that you say no, they get mad and they go
I
on
never had a reason to need
tantrums
to
and
feel like I
start
had to.
dragging your name and shit like that. Like,
Not once ever.
And some tantrums you could recover from, and some tantrums you can't.
yeah.
And it has to do
I already
with
told my
everyone.
dad I'd
And
record
also,
anything else he did
when
if
you
he talks to me.
apologize to someone,
Fuck it.
you can't expect them just to accept your apology right there
Yeah,
and there.
sometimes your actions closes doors that apologies can't open.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. And sometimes, at some later point, the person might accept your apology and whatever else. But a lot of times, look, and Yayo would even say, like, he learned early on that success is not handed out to everyone evenly. There's only one Eminem. There's only one 50 Cent. There's only one Dr. Dre. Everyone around them didn't get to share
in that same
Early.
level.
Right.
There's only one of them.
Right.
No, early.
President Biden, what have they been? Has he said anything about coming to Florida to tour damage?
He didn't say anything to me about it,
Captions.
but he basically said,
It's 2 minutes.
you guys are doing a great job. We're here for
2
you.
weeks
You
ago?
need
Let
something
me get you
else.
the last link.
And so we sent a big request, and we got approved
Copy
for what
link.
we wanted. They've also been.
Oh, we're having ASL on screen. Oh, I love that. Win. That's a win.
We don't want bureaucracy to stand in the way of helping people. In
weird.
Florida, we do things different. I mean, how the federal government normally operates and how we operate is just miles apart. And sometimes FEMA does things and people get frustrated, and that's understandable. But sometimes it's like you have all.
They
the
only have one
bureaucracy,
channel of audio.
so it's just like, okay, let's try to clear that. So.
Hi, any of you who are fucking with it, 1 second, I got you. Mono, crank it. Sorry, I apologize.
What have they been? Has he said anything about coming to Florida to tour damage?
He didn't say anything to me about it, but he basically said, you know, you guys are doing a great job. We're here for you. You need something else. And so we sent a big request, and we got approved for what we wanted. They've also been, I think, admirably flexible about, okay, we don't want bureaucracy to stand in the way of helping people. You know, in Florida, we do things different. I mean, how the federal government normally operates and how we operate is just miles apart.
Okay,
and, you know, sometimes FEMA does things and people get frustrated, and that's understandable. But sometimes it's like, you know, you have all the bureaucracy.
Fuck me.
So it's just like, okay, let's try to clear that.
No.
So Kevin's really been working, I think, productively with the administrator of FEMA to say, let's get this stuff going. Let's make sure we're helping people, and let's not get mired in a lot of the bureaucracy. And so I think the administration's been receptive to that. And that ultimately is going to be the way, you know, that you do. Like when we did this debris thing to help the Pinellas beaches, you know, we didn't worry about, you know, the reimbursement of FEMA. Now, we did talk with FEMA parallel to us doing it and saying this should qualify, and they have said that they're gonna qualify us for it. But I think what happens in some of the local governments will wait on debris removal until like all the paperwork with this, and you lose valuable time. So we don't want to lose valuable time. We want to push out resources now, and I think we're all singing on the same sheet of music on that. So I think it'll be a good thing.
No worm.
Trump or Vice President Kamala Harris?
You know, the former President Trump, you know, he's somebody that I'm in regular contact with, just, you know, given his campaign and me being a supporter. And he's has helped with, I think, some of the linemen. I think they housed a couple hundred, and he sends his well wishes. But we've just got
What you doing?
While the Kremlin propaganda machine is building an escalation ladder with the West, all terminals
I was looking away.
for the 4 days. And Ukrainian drones continue to attack Russian air bases and Shahed storage depots, like in the recent attack in Krasnodarsky Krai. And let's once again look at the imperial nature of the entire Russian foreign policy. They remember the way the world looked during the Cold War, the Warsaw Pact countries, Soviet occupation of the Baltic states and Ukraine, Belarus. These countries fall in the Russian sphere of influence, in their opinion, because there once was a Russian soldier standing there. And we can hear the same revisionist rhetoric on basically the main Russian state propaganda channel at Solovyov's talk
Their
show.
music is fucking killing it. Give me a sec.
Deliberately unifying, steadily and skillfully drawn into NATO. Former Warsaw Pact countries, former Soviet republics were getting pulled into NATO. The West was moving closer and closer to the borders. Ukraine was the last straw. So, for those still caught up in this narrative, whether they realize it or not.
Am I done with the laundry? I think so. I did the bedding, the clothes.
We're delivering a counter-strike, which honestly,
Counter-Strike.
we should have done a long time ago.
Counter-Strike?
This was a Russian filmmaker, Karen Shakhnazarov, in case you still wondered whether culture is a weapon for Russians. The whole idea of bringing something back that once was under Russian control is obsolete. In the 21st century, when globalization is the case, such ideas are pure barbarism, and they will not work. So we conclude that these aggressive motives are intended to make the inner audience of Russia proud for their strong position and confrontation with the evil West, while hundreds of Russian villages, towns, and even administrative centers do not have gasification and sometimes even a basic canalization system. And we have yet another fake story about President of Ukraine Zelensky buying Hitler's Mercedes. As the Russian media Moscow Komsomolets writes, Zelensky has allegedly purchased this car in the US during his latest visit. Let's hear them out.
That was bad play.
Leader Volodymyr Zelensky has bought a car that belonged to German Führer Adolf Hitler. Mercedes was used by
I know
him
I
at
didn't
the
get on
parade
till
in
late because I was
Berlin
doing
after the
chores,
surrender of
and
France
I've
in
ran through my
1940.
ability to solve
Zelensky
even
arrived
close
at
to
the administration
appropriately.
building on Bankova Street in this car.
It's okay.
This happened shortly after Zelensky returned from a tour in America. The article of Seattle Tribune says that the amount Zelensky paid for the Mercedes-Benz 770K is unknown, but according to experts, it could be about $15 million. From the publication by the Moscow Komsomolets.
Interestingly, this Russian newspaper is quoting an allegedly American publication, Seattle Tribune. The website with such name was registered just at the beginning of October. The Internet Archive shows what it looked like on October 3rd, 2024.
They're still getting fucked. Internet Archive.
And the website has been created.
We're really fucked up that
they are also trying to prove this with an edited screenshot of a Ukrainian
there's data
channel
there
as the
that we don't have
display.
elsewhere.
Let's just look at this Photoshop image and compare it with the
We hope
file.
they ledger what's
And in
gone
case you
and
still
what's
wondered
present
what Russians
really
really
well
want to
and
do,
off of that
I
system.
emphasize not the military need, but just their sole inner desire is to destroy everything and everyone who does not yield to their grip. Just listen to another Soloviev broadcast and the peaceful sinking of
YouTube's
speakers
dropping frames.
to blow up bridges and dams in Kiev.
I can see it now.
Why does a railroad station exist in Kiev, where, by the way, trains are arriving? Why haven't all entry points into Ukraine been destroyed? There are not so many of them. It's a countable number. Yes, they are recovering quite quickly, but psychologically it is a good blow. And the bridges in Kiev, and the bridges in Kiev, and the bridges in Kiev, dams and all the bridges, everything should be destroyed. We should be kind and value the life of a Russian soldier, not a Ukrainian nationalist.
So that's it. The face of Russian propaganda is hate speech. And after Russians start speaking bad about their country, and for many times in a row they usually mean they are gonna see their tanks at the border sooner or later. It depends on how far physically from Russians you are. So stay informed, be vigilant in the information sphere, and don't let propaganda win.
Did I give it to you?
Amazing
yes, I did.
show. You two came up with the idea of it while
Why
you
do
were
we
on a
have
trip.
access
So talk to me
Hollywood?
about that initial conversation
Because I put it here, I
getting
guess.
it made, pitching it to Hulu.
It's in my watch later. Fight
time
me.
had to pass between the moment where we had the idea, you know, then we had a very long 10-year hangover, and then we managed to get to Fox Searchlight, who were amazing partners in developing this with us, and then Hulu got excited, and this is the first series Hulu does in Spanish. Estamos muy contentos. It's good news, you know, that it's happening, and privileged to have their responsibility of doing it, no? Because this show matters a lot to us. It's about our friendship. It's about what happens when we work together, and it's also a beautiful opportunity to work with the people we grew up shooting films with in the country we love, with a story that matters to us, you know, a story about a boxer and his manager.
Presentamos con orgullo la vida del pugilista mexicano Esteban La Máquina Osuna.
Hay revancha, papá. ¿Cuánto tiempo? 12 semanas le partes la madre.
And it takes place in Mexico, and it also talks about the Mexican experience. You work with Isa Gonzalez in this. Did you always know you wanted her to be in the project? How did her coming into this?
No, actually, when she, came into the picture, we were like, wow, it's like getting a, I don't know, like getting a jet, no? Like, and I don't think is she gonna accept, you know? Is she? And then she immediately wanted to be in it, and we were very happy. But also with all the other actors, the way that they got incorporated into the project was really lovely, because they jumped into it with a lot of heart, a lot of energy.
I guess I'm being a shit caboodle.
A lot of goodwill as well, and also joined our
Here.
our
I'll pop it out
little
for
world
us.
that we can
We're gonna go see Hi.
sometimes,
I'm gonna give you the link
it's
for
a bit
this.
unspoken, but when we start to work together, like, we know
If we
what
don't,
tone
we
we're gonna
won't
reach,
have
or
another
we know
chance, I
where
guess.
we're
Here you
going
go.
more or less with this.
There you go.
And they were
There you go.
really fascinated and also keen to join us in that kind of, sort of farcical, heightened, stylized sort of satire,
I guess I have to pause this. I don't
like
wanna. Okay.
a bit bigger than
I'm
life
gonna
kind
keep
of
on.
thing,
Our timestamp is 2 minutes, 40
Isa
seconds.
was really good at,
Yeah.
I was also going like, okay, I'm gonna
We're gonna go see
do
Igor.
this kind of thing.
I appreciate you,
The
Oodles.
three of you guys have, of course, you two have amazing chemistry. You're best friends. But
Thank you for letting me fuck around with streaming in 1440 to YouTube and 1080 to Twitch. You have a lovely one. Thank you for tolerating me. I'm gonna play games on the couch. Laying on my back with a heating blanket on my tummy because it aches.
We rehearsed a lot.
So yeah.
Rehearsed more.
Good luck, my dears. I'm gonna go be an actual lethargic goober. Thank you for hanging out. Please be okay. Have a lovely day. To you lovely goobers on YouTube, I don't have a way to rate us yet, and also Igloo isn't on the Uyatubias at the moment that I'm aware of. Here's the link for here's the link for Igloo's Twitch if you want it. Take care. Thank you so very much for being you. Thank you for being present. Thank you for being nifty. Please take care. Bye-bye, my dears. Did I already run through the time? No, it's fine.
Do it properly, like.
Just to give